Perfect. This is Bedorosis. Of course, we are having today is on Wednesday, and of course, it's a ladies' night for those who are following this great conversation. And you know, when it's on a ladies' night, we have to focus with matters concerning love. And I have been following what is happening when it comes to the preparation for the Valentines. Valentine. Who is your Valentine's Day? Who is your Valentine's, and how are you preparing for the Valentines? Because we are having this Valentine taking place on Friday, and many people are preparing for the Valentines. Others are saying that there's high time now you show love to your beloved ones. Show love. What are you planning to buy for your person? Either you are a boyfriend, but you know, statistics says that. Gender-based violence is increasing when we are approaching these Valentines. Valentines happens every year from every year date 14, and they say on date 14 there is men conference. I really don't know what happens during the men conference because men are always confused if I can be asked because on Valentine's Day that is a day that you show love to a person that is close to you. It does not mean that you just show love to someone you love. You can show love to your mother, you can show love to your sister, brothers, your neighbor, to those who are under poor conditions, those who are fighting against high rates of poverty. You can show love to them, and then you will be blessed. So, do you show love, or you just say, I am just there, I'm just there? Show love. Show love to those who are fighting against poor conditions, people who have poverty, they don't have food to eat, people who are suffering from a lot of diseases. Show love. Just buy a bucket of flowers, just send one to someone, just go there, visit a children's home, visit a lot of places that are under poor condition. That is how you show love. Because on Valentine's Day, this is a day that you give the best to someone. When it comes to love, I've seen what is happening in the social media, Facebook, Instagram, and a lot of people are saying that this Valentine's Day, it's finding them while they are single. That Valentine does not mean that you should be in love with someone. We have couples, and these couples are celebrating their day. So it does not mean that if you are not married, then you're not going to celebrate Valentine's. Go to someone, go to a kid who doesn't have food, buy food for her, buy food for him, show love, buy clothes, go to the children's home and show them what you have been blessed. And that is the only way you are going to be blessed. So, Valentine's does not mean that you should be in love. It should be between couples. No, it is not. It should not be between couples because, as they say, Valentine's is only meant people to remember the one that they love. I was today following a conversation in the social media platform whereby there's a lady from Zambia who said that during the Valentines, women have been chasing men to buy them some gifts, some watches, some, I think, good things. But now men have forgotten. It's not a two-way. It's not a two-way. Men have been forgotten. That's why you see men nowadays they are almost 35, 30 years and they're not married. They think that there is no anyone who can show them true love. They say that ladies focus on money. Do you think that if you're following this conversation, do you think that women are more focused with money than just getting to someone a life and show adding value? Because nowadays, if you don't have money, then you should keep off from talking to ladies. You should keep off from talking to women because they love someone who has money. If you don't have money, then you should stop following ladies, because as we have the Valentine's preview, I've also seen some of people are buying cars for their loved ones, buying land. I think gifting your person, your girlfriend a land, your boyfriend a land. If I, me personally as Boniface, you come and gift me a land, then I'll be happy for that. If you come and gift me, I think even uh, a nice coat, a nice shirt, then I'll be happy for them. But now going to eat in a restaurant, then it will not affect anything. You should focus with those valuable resources. Buy for a land, buy for food, pay my rent, pay my bills, pay my shoes. I think this is one way that can make you grow, that can make you realize that you are loved. So it does not mean that when it's Valentine, then you move to someone who is in love. No, in Valentine's Day, you don't even move to someone who is in love. What is there is that you show love to someone. You show love to the kids. You show love to anyone who is suffering from poverty, someone who has a disability. Go and show love to them. We're having this Valentine's Day that is coming, and it'll be on Friday. It's the one day that happens every February, and every February we are having this Valentine's Day taking place in different areas of the world. Different people celebrate it in different way, and I'm very sure everyone in this life has his favorite person. You cannot just be in this world and you hate anyone, you hate every person. No, you have your brother, your sister, your neighbor, you have your area that you really love. So go and show love for them. For those who are less fortunate, then go and show love to them, because that is the only way you are going to show a concern to other Kenyans. Show concern to other Kenyans, because love is very precious. And this day does not mean that it's only meant for people who are in love. No, you can also show love for your mother, your brother, your sisters. Buy them some a gift, and then you will be recognized. It does not mean that you should always focus with love matters. No, I've seen even in the social media, ladies are complaining ati men sasa ni wazuri. And the other days unaonanga wakisema men ni wajinga, men ni wapumbavu, men ni wapumbavu, nini nini. But now we are having them saying that men are the best creatures in this world. We have seen a lot of breakups in marriages nowadays when it comes to fulfilling the promises. Someone marries you and he gave you very, very tight promises. And then after marrying you, then you are waiting to see these promises being fulfilled. And they are not fulfilled. What does that mean? This person is a lie. We have seen many young marriages being broken. And when you compare Kenya, that is when you compare our the Gen Z, millennials, and those who were born in the 1960s, 50s, then you see your grandmother is almost 50 years and he is still almost 70 years, but he is still in love with your grandfather. But now you are having breakups every day, and then on a single day, you have broken to five ladies. On a single day, you have also got into another relationship. This is something technology has really affected our country, and that is why we're having a lot of youth marriage breakup. These marriage breakups are ones that will lead to children without fathers, or women running away, or someone's not supporting the kid, someone's not paying uh, the financials for the child. So we're having a lot of marriage breakups. Why do you think that we have these marriage breakups? in Kenya to be specific, because I've also seen how young ones are getting into these problems of looking for money, and they engage into dirty practices that I have also witnessed around where I live. A lot of things happen. You have seen also someone trying to beat his wife, but I think as a man, the least thing you can do as a man, the least thing you can do is kicking your wife. Beating your wife is the least thing that should cross your mind. Because why would you do that? If you're tired by the person whom you have been dating, just move out slowly. Because fighting will not cost anything. Just being obedient, just break up. I've also seen how old men are still following up on young women. I don't I don't know what to how to describe it. Is it just lust, or men we are in this world whereby the world has already been exploited up to the standard that there is no one who fears. We have seen cases whereby billionaires. The last time we saw was Pep Guardiola when he was fighting for his Manchester City. Yesterday, we saw Man City being defeated by Real Madrid. 9 minutes, Brahim Diaz, Kylian Mbappe, and Jude Bellingham scored for Real Madrid. We have seen all those whereby people fight because of love. People fight because of not showing that attention. But as a human being, you can know when you're forcing things. Does not mean that if you ask me for 100 today, I don't have. You keep quiet for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, then you ask me about it. We're having a lot of young marriages also. 19, 20, 18 years, someone has already got into marriage. For what? Running for what? So we're having all those happening in this country. And as you approach the Valentine's Day, what I can say is that make sure you show love to someone. Just go there, show love to someone, buy food, buy them lunch. I think if you go to those places and buy lunch for someone, it will be of importance, because Valentine's is more about showing love to people. As of week 24, we shall be having that Valentine's Day a celebration here in Africa 24, and we honor everyone. Our loyal followers, we honor you. Our commentators, we honor you. We honor everyone here in Africa 24, and that's why we always say that make sure you have a date with Africa 24. And we wish everyone happy Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day, because this day is only meant for people who are showing love to others. Make sure you show love to someone. Show love to someone is very key. And we are also having, during this day on 14th every February, we have marriage breakups. Watu wengi sana huachana sana ikifika date 14. Shida sijawahi jua ni gani, but watu wengi sana huwa wanaachana, watu wengi huwa wanaingia pale wanaongea vitu mingi sana, but pia nafikiri ni maturity. If you are in any serious relationship, make sure your relationship is firm. Your relationship is up to standards. Make sure that every day you get into the house, you are behaving. I've seen some people get into love, but they don't understand what is love. Love is precious thing, and it should be taken care of. Make sure you show your person love. Make sure you show them your real colors, not betrayal. Recently, we have seen our celebrities breaking up. Recently, we have seen a lot of people breaking up because of this thing called love. So we wish everyone all the best as they get into this Valentine's Day. Now, Raila Amolo Odinga, shifting from Valentine's Day, Raila Amolo Odinga has now shifted to Ethiopia to plan for that day. We will see the results on we'll see the results. We'll see them on Saturday. But the fight is still on. Gachagua is still fighting hard.
And there are
still fighting hard to win.
Watu wawili, moja anaitwa Adil na mwingine anaitwa Jayesh. These are the conveyors of corruption in this country. Na ndio watu wenye she and sha. Ndio wale watu ya Adani. Na hawa watu wakija kuona rais, hata ukiwa deputy president na minister, utamngoja hapo saa 5 akiongea na hiyo watu. Wakipanga hiyo mane? So Mr. President, be an honest man. Look for a mirror before you talk about corruption and look at yourself. If you think the people of Kenya are very intelligent, regarding Gachagua has not been associated with any scandal in this country. So wewe unaenda pale unasema he is incompetent. In matters of incompetence, Mr. President, I tend to agree with you to a certain extent. Serikali yako ni ya uongo, kutenga, kudanganya watu. Uliandika mkataba na watu ya Western, ukamjema utajenga 1000 kilometers, hujajenga. Umekuwa hapo juzi unafungua transformer. Wewe mimi ulitaka nikusaidie kudanganya wa Kenya. In matters kudanganya wa Kenya, Mr. President, I'm incompetent. Absolutely. I accept. Because hiyo alikuwa anataka tuende ku-launch barabara na anajua hakuna budget, tukitoka matinga inafanya nini? Sasa hiyo ndio kazi rais anataka nimsaidie. Ndio anasema huyu haelewi program za serikali. Sasa kwenda kupeleka matinga ukijua hakuna kazi inafanya, hiyo ni program ya serikali. He was telling me to go and defend Adani. Tulikuwa na Eugene Wamalwa, huyu mheshimiwa, na Wanyonga kwa mazishi Kitale. Huyu Wanyonga akaamuka, akalima serikali mambo ya Adani, na mimi nakaa tu vale. I don't want to nod because I'm still in office. That Adani thing is the worst form of corruption in this country. So mimi nilipoamuka, I never responded. So one of the PAs ya mkubwa akanipigia simu. Mtu yuko huko, mtu ya 36. Wewe ni deputy president ya sangapi? Maana ya deputy president, you speak last. Dio ile maneno yote iko baya serikali ukanu. Kwa nini huyo Nyonga alilima serikali mambo ya Adani and you are not defending? Nikamwambia, I cannot answer you. Tell your boss to call me. So president ananiambia, nimwambia mimi siwezi. That thing is corruption. I cannot defend it, Mr. President. I cannot. That is why he is saying I was not defending government programs. Sasa corruption, is it a government program? So wanasema ati I'm incompetent. Hii mtu hakuna kitu anaelewa. Sasa kama serikali ni wizi tupu, sasa what is there to defend? Walinipeleka Senate ati nimekataa watu watolewe Nairobi River. Walinishitaki nimekataa watu wafukuzwe Marigiti Market. Those are things I could not do. Ukiangalia hii maneno ya affordable housing, it is the worst fraud against the people of Kenya. And it's good today I tell the country. And those are things he was telling me to go to TV to defend. I told him I will not. Mimi pia nikichwa ngumu. That housing, initially we believed in the president. That ni ya kuleta ajira, nini, maneno kizungu mingi, we looked okay. Until it came to my attention, it has nothing to do with housing. Ni biashara. ya kwamba PS wa housing, ukitaka kujenga affordable housing, you must go and sign a subcontract na kampuni ile tauza simiti na chuma na mabati, na hiyo kampuni watu wale wakubwa zaidi Kenya wako ndani ya wapi? So this housing levy inatolewa kwa watu ya Kenya is to make sure these houses are going on, ndio hao wauze simiti, wauze chuma, wauze mabati. That is what the president is accusing me of not understanding and being incompetent. Sasa mimi nauliza, na mimi nataka niseme, I want to assure the people of Kenya, this team I see here, and when I listen to the people of Kenya, because I listen a lot, once a new government is sworn in, that housing levy will have to be abolished so that we restore the dignity of the payslip. The dignity of the payslip. Wakenya wamehangaishwa zaidi. Na nimeona mpaka yule mkubwa ya wafanyikazi amekuwa ameingia kwa hiyo praise and worship team. Watu nakazwa mambo ya NSSF, mambo haongei. Kazi yake ni praise and worship. Those are the things sisi ambaye tumeshindwa kufanya. So finally ndio nimalize, because I wanted to tell the president, usidanganye wa Kenya. Useme ukweli, tulikosania corruption, because wewe ndio unaeneza corruption na watu yako. Na it is impossible to make any progress in this country unless we sort out this country in terms of leadership. We'll sink lower and lower. Finally niambie watu ya Western, because mimi naona huyo jamaa amekwama hapo kwenu. Nyinyi mko na bahati that we are here to advise you. Alienda kwenu siku 6. Kwetu he was there 6 days out of 7 every week. Hakuna kanisa hajaingia. Hakuna barabara hajui kwa jina. Hakuna soko hajui kwa jina. And you would memorize, we are very impressed. Anataja barabara, Wakikuyu wanasema These men called a community that has pride, a community that's hardworking, that is rich. What?
Chagua roaring over there.
Ati nimesikia sababu amesikia rais akitembea kwa jamii ya Mulembe. Wanaumaumwa, wanasema ati sasa amekuja kusema musangalile. Hata mimi nitasema musangalile. Musangalile. Mulembe bosi. Tulikuwa na yeye, niliungana na yeye hapa Luanda, akianzisha ile soko kubwa ya Luanda na mabarabara, hospitali hapa jirani Huisero ambaye aliahidi mwezi wa 11 na ambaye imeshaanza kujengwa hapa Kakamega. Na hayo ndio mambo unaona yanawauma wengine wakiona kuwa maendeleo yanakuja Western Kenya, sababu hawataki kuona watu wa Western Kenya wakiendelea na wakistawi. Na ndio maana nataka niwaambie na tuwaambie wale ambao bado wako na fikra za siasa za ukabila, wajue shida ikitokea Afrika, sisi wote tunaihisi. Sasa leo marais wote wa East Africa na wale wa Southern Africa Development Corporation na wa East African Corporation jana wamekuwa mkutano pale Dar es Salaam, sababu ya ile shida imetokea nchi yetu jirani pale Goma, DRC. Na ni sababu ya siasa za migawanyiko ya ukabila ndizo zinatuletea shida Afrika mzima. Kweli si kweli? Kwa hivyo mkiona viongozi ambao wakati rais anatuuliza tuungane sisi sote kama taifa moja, kama jamii moja ya Wakenya, kama East Africans, kama wa Afrika, wengine nao wanatuambia tutengane kwa misingi ya ukabila. Hawataki rais atembee eneo la magharibi ya Kenya wakiona rais Western Kenya wanaumaumwa. Tunawaambia rais ni rais wa Kenya na ataendelea kutembea hapa Vihiga na Western Kenya, wapende wasipe. Jua ukiambia watu ati rais alitembea huko kwetu Mount Kenya akasema Muriega, tukampigia kura, wewe unataka kumaanisha watu wa Mount Kenya hawana akili. Watu wa Mount Kenya walikuwa na akili ya kupima na kuona rais ako na plan ya maendeleo yao, na ndio wakampigia kura. Na mimi nataka niwaambie jameni, ndugu zangu kutoka Western, musiuziwe uoga na hawa wa kabila na watu wa kugawanya watu. Wale wanataka tugawanye kwa misingi ya ukabila ili wajifiche na makabila yao kujitafutia yao makuu. Lakini rais na sisi wote kwa serikali ya Kenya Kwanza na hii ya broad base tumesema hatutaangalia mtu amezaliwa akiwa Mkikuyu ama Mluya ama Mjaluo, tutamuona ama Msomali, tutamuona kama mtoto wa Kenya na ni Mkenya anayestahili maendeleo kama Mkenya mwingine yote.
Yes, that is Kimani Ichung'wah. Oi, anasema kwamba Musangarire walikuwa wanarespond kwa Gachagua pale. Gachagua anapigwa vita sana.
Nilikuwa nasema sisi wote tuko Wakristo. Na tuongeane ukweli. Hata kama usi Mkristo wewe usiongee uongo. Unajua jana niliona picha nyingine. Kuna mahali Kalonzo alikuwa anaenda Mashishi mahali. Niliona
wakati ya kura unaanza ukaa na matako moja. Mkisia anakaa hivi, Mkikuyu anakaa hivi. Hiyo tabia tuache. Pembe zote za Kenya ni nyumbani kwa kila mtu. Tunaelewana? Na ndio mimi nawaambianga isifike siku ya kura unaona mtu amefunga sofa set, mwingine amefunga kitanda, mwingine sio amefunga nini, mwingine anaenda Western, mwingine sio anaenda. Hiyo ujinga lazima iishe Kenya hii. Si ndio? Na mkiona saa zingine, na nataka munisikize vizuri. Mkiona saa zingine nikikuwa mkali kwa nini na ukabila muelewe. Si Wakikuyu ni wengi hapa. Hata ile tulifanya Nairobi kugusa Gachagua. Unajua watu wengi hawaelewi. Siku moja mtajua ilikuwa ni lazima aende. Uwesilete villager kukuja ku-incite all Kenyans. Oh, huyu ni sijui nani, sijui shares ya nini hapa, sijui nini pale. Tuko na Wakikuyu capable wenye wanaweza kuunganisha nchi, wenye tunashikana sisi wote. Kwani nyinyi mlikuwa mnajua Gachagua mwaka 5 iliyopita? Si mmejua yetu juzi wakati anakuwa naibu rais? Kwani nchi itasimama Gachagua akitolewa? Kwani leo tukiamua kutoa William Ruto nchi itasimama? Hata huyo William Ruto akiletea ukabila tunaimpeach yeye, tunafukuza yeye. Ukianza kusimama kusema huyo ni sijui nani, kuanzia asubuhi mpaka jioni unaongea fitina tu, hutaki kujenga kitu, hutaki kusema kitu yote. Unasema tu huyu alifanya hii. Na hata wacha niwaambie, si nataka niwaambie ukweli. Si Gachagua amekuwa deputy president kwa mwaka 2. Si mimi nimekuwa mjumbe kwa mwaka 12. Alete rekodi yake ya mwaka 2 akiwa deputy, amesaidia nani na mimi nilete yangu. Mimi namshinda mara 500. Na ndio mnataka muelewe, si ati ukitoa mtu ama ufuguse mtu ati kwa sababu ati unamchukia, hapana. Sometimes mtu kama ni wrong, kama Sudi ni wrong, mwambie Sudi wewe ni wrong. Juzi tumekuwa hapa Mosbridge. Watu wamechomokewa pale, wana biashara, sio wakale. Ni wote, ni mixed up. Mimi nimetoka safari hata sijapumzika. Gavana amefika na huyu chama na kidogo. Tumechomokewa Mosbridge. Na ule MCA ya rafiki yako Mosbridge ametutu.
Sudi saying that we should stop tribalism cases, tribalism when it comes to the politics of this country. Now today we saw Waititu being arraigned in Milimani because of a lot of money. His wife also was found guilty. You know, Waititu has been slamming the government, So is this the comeback of Waititu again?
Watu wakachagua Ruto tukifikiria vile alikuwa na Biblia ati ni mtu mzuri sana, ni mtu ya Mungu. Akadanganya vijana, mnakumbuka mahasara wote, mama bora wote wakadanganywa, watu ya bodaboda wote wakadanganywa, hata sisi viongozi tukadanganywa, na hata watu mapastors wote na mabishop wakadanganywa. Hatukuwa najua hii mtu anaweza kuwa na uongo sambuli hiyo. Na mmesikia ulimwengu mzima yeye ndio namba 2 kwa ufisadi. Na ufisadi na uongo yote inaenda pamoja. Kwa hivyo hakuna mtu anaweza sema mwingine alikuwa mjinga, kwa sababu tulidanganywa sisi wote. Mimi nataka niwaambie sisi watu ya mlima tumeapa vile alitudanganya hatuwezi rudisha kidole pahali iliumwa. Vile alitudanganya naye sisi tunamngojea 2027 asubuhi na mapema. Asubuhi na mapema lazima Kasongo aende Sugoi mapema. Mnakubaliana na sisi? Hebu nione kabisa kama mnakubaliana na sisi. Alafu kuna kitu ingine. Hatukuwa najua yeye ako na roho ya kuua watu. Vile vijana wameuawa kama yeye ameona kwa macho yake. Jana tulikuwa kwa City Mortuary tukiwa na mkubwa wetu hapa Bwana Kalonzo Musyoka, kuona wamama ambao wanatafuta watoto wao huko. Vijana mlisikia Mlolongo 4, tumesikia mwingine pia amechukuliwa huko Kaiti. Mimi nataka kukuambia ile hofu iko huko ni mbaya sana. Wanaua watoto na kinyama, na tuku wanafikiri Ruto mwenyewe akiwa mzazi anaweza angalia kama watoto wengine wanauawa. Na mimi nataka niwaambie tafadhali nyinyi mkubali huyu Kasongo, hiyo hadithi ya Kasongo tusahau 2027 tufikirie mambo mengine. Mmekubali? Mnakubali? Hebu nione tena kama sisi wote tuko kichwa moja. Alafu niwaambie kitu kingine, kwa sababu hiyo lazima tunasema yule mtu ambaye amehitimu kabisa kwa experience akiwa na miaka mingi kwa bunge 28 years, huyu mzee mnaona hapa, na huyu ndio aliongoza la Kibaki. Huyu ndio nchi ikapata maendeleo na tukapata masomo ya bure. Hebu tupigie Kibaki makofi wakiwa na Kalonzo Musyoka tafadhali. Hao ndio waliongoza hii nchi, ikaonekana nchi iko na tofauti, si ndio?
Waititu anasema Kasongo aende nyumbani, lakini sasa leo tumeona amefikishwa mahakamani. Vita zimeanza. Sasa Waititu atafanya nini? What will happen to Waititu? Because the 2027 general elections is going to be a tough day for this country.
The pronouncements, but Kibaki was very committed. In 2 years, President Kibaki became the most hated and the most unpopular person in Kenya. In 2005, 2 years after his election, the first time, 3 years, he brought a referendum. He was defeated in that referendum. You remember Banana Orange? He was defeated. He dissolved the entire cabinet. He was left with the old man. It's a Moody Award or something. Yeah. So what is happening around here is something that has happened before. And why President Kibaki and President Ruto? Ask yourself why. It is because any transformative leader who has an idea of what to do about key sectors that define a country's transformation, many times the decisions that leader has to make to transform the country are usually unpopular. They are not popular. Populist leaders make popular decisions. Okay? I'll give you an example. This universal health care that we are focused on implementing. It's not the invention of Kenya Kwanza. Professor Kithaka and the others, the scholars, will tell you, President Kibaki intended to bring universal health coverage when Charity Ngilu was minister. Aka-introduce the topic, siasa kama hii ikakuja, Kibaki retreated. Ikakufa. President Uhuru had universal health care in his manifesto. I'm part of the team that wrote that manifesto, the first term. Akaona it's very unpopular because you have to increase the levies that you're charging people and so forth. Akaikalia first term. He thought he can introduce it in second term when he's going home because he will not be looking for re-election. So in 2018, Aka announced the Big Four agenda. One of them was universal health coverage. Cecily Kariuki was the minister for health. Siasa ikakuja, Uhuru backtracked. I remember Uhuru asking us, sisi tuko na insurance? Kama watu wamekataa health insurance, sisi tuko na insurance? Alafu akauliza deputy yake that time. I just overheard, nilikuwa area tu, nilikuwa hapo, sikuwa karibu. Nikasikia akauliza deputy yake, "Wewe William, si mimi na wewe tuko na nyumba? Hii housing program." Kwa sababu housing ilikuwa kwa Big Four ya Uhuru pia, isn't it? Si wewe uko na nyumba na mimi niko na nyumba. Hii manyumba ni ya nini, tuwache? Wakawacha. Brothers and sisters, I'll shortly tell you what housing and what a health insurance for every Kenyan means to the economy and to household incomes in a short while. But before I do that, I want to say for the last 2 years, President Ruto has struggled with what we call macroeconomic stability. Macroeconomic stability means, for those who are not experts like myself, I'm not also an expert in the economy, but I have learned from the experts. Macroeconomic stability are the fundamental foundational economic growth indicators that must be in place before you start now building the growth of the economy. One indicator is the strength.
Macroeconomic stability, Kithure Kindiki there when he was explaining, he was explaining what has been happening, and he's trying to relate Kibaki, Uhuru, and the Ruto manifesto. He's saying that manifesto, both those manifesto, the trio manifesto matches, and that is what he's saying, that the manifestos of this government matches, and that is what he's saying, that we should also allow the president to deliver with a peace of mind. That is what he's saying. Allow the president to deliver. But of course, the president has been saying that he has the right decision to make. He will make sure that this country transforms. He will transform this country to a very improved nation. We want to depend on ourselves. That is what president
wa Kenya wote, jameni, tuungane, tushirikiane. Ya muhimu sio uchaguzi wa 2027. Ya umuhimu sasa ni mpango ya transformation ya Kenya. Barabara tutakazojenga, maji tutakayofikisha kwa manyumba ya wananchi, stima tutakayofikisha kwa nyumba ya wananchi. Hawa vijana tuwapange na ajira, na wale wengine wote tuhakikishe ya kwamba tuna madawa katika mahospitali yetu. Na ndio mimi nataka niwaulize viongozi, let us unite so that we can have a plan and we can prosecute the agenda for the transformation of our nation. Matters 2027 will come and the people of Kenya will decide. For now, we must focus on making sure that we deliver on the commitments that we made. And I want to promise the people of Kenya that this administration, under my leadership, is going to focus on the transformation of Kenya, making sure that our teachers are in school, our children are being taught, our farmers have the support they need. We build roads, we connect electricity, we connect water, transform our nation. That is what is important for every Kenyan, irrespective of their tribe, irrespective of the region they come from, irrespective of the religion they profess, irrespective of any other consideration. And that is why we must work together as leaders and as a nation. Na mimi nataka niwatahadharishe, upande ule mwingine ni watu hawana mpango, hawana sera, hawana ideas, hawana chochote. Ati mpango yao yote ni vile watagawanya Wakenya. Kama hawasemi mambo ya ukabila, wanasema mambo ya sijui dini. Kama hawasemi mambo ya dini, wanasema sijui nani wa kutoka mulima, nani wa kutoka bonde, nani wa kutoka bara, nani wa kutoka ziwa, nani wa kutoka wapi. Kama hawafanyi hiyo, wanasema nani yako na kazi, nani hana kazi. Nani yako na payslip, nani hana payslip. Mimi nataka niwaambie hawa jamaa, if you want a semblance of a competition, look for an agenda. Leave division. Division will not get you anywhere. And the people of Kenya are resolved to unite so that together we can transform our nation. We cannot transform our nation divided. We will transform our nation united. And that is why we are united as a people of Kenya. Watu wa Mandera, munasema tuungane ama tutengane? Tuungane ama tutengane Mandera? Wale wanasema tuungane nione kwa mkono, wale wanasema tuungane. Tuko pamoja? Tuko pamoja? Kwa hivyo, mimi nimefurahi sana kufika hapa. Mimi niko hapa. Sasa, mimi nataka niwaambie hivi. Usalama ni kitu ya muhimu sana. Usalama wa taifa letu la Kenya ni ya muhimu sana. Tunapigana na wahuni na wakora na wahalifu pamoja na magaidi. Na kwa sababu hawa magaidi tumewalemea jana, kwa sababu ya kutaka kulete hali ya hofu sehemu hii, ati walienda wakashika machifu wetu. I want to promise the people of Mandera, hawa machifu lazima warudi nyumbani, na hawa wakora na wagaidi na wahuni tutapambana na wao. Nimekuja na Deputy Inspector General wa polisi yuko hapa, Bwana Masengeli, na nimemwambia Bwana Masengeli yuko area hapa. Bwana Masengeli nishamueleza ya kwamba juu chini, kulia kushoto, mbele na nyuma, east or west, mpaka mambo haya yatatuliwe, kwa sababu we have significantly downgraded the ability of the Al-Shabaab to unleash violence to the people of northern Kenya. And we will not stop at anything until we make sure northern Kenya is safe like any other part of the Republic of Kenya. Munajua hawa wajinga walikuwa wanafikiria ya kwamba wakifanya hiyo maneno walifanya jana, ati ndio nisikuje hapa. Wako ni wajinga kabisa, ni wazimu. Mimi sio ati nimekuja Mandera. Nimekuja na Mandera na mimi nalala Mandera. Na ikizidi naweza kulala tena. Kwa sababu hapa ni Kenya. And I must make it absolutely clear that every part of Kenya is important. And we are not going to cede an inch of our country to criminals and those who want to unleash mayhem in our republic. We will go after them, we will deal with them, and we will eliminate them. Tumekubaliana jameni? Watu wa Mandera tumekubaliana? Vijana muko? Sikizeni. Hapa Mandera tuko na program ya housing, nyumba 1000 tumetangaza ya kujenga hapa Mandera town. Nyumba 1000 tunajenga pale Ramo. Nyumba 1000 tunajenga pale Elwak. Soko ambayo nimekubaliana na viongozi wenu, tunajenga soko kubwa hapa Mandera town ya milioni 350. Tutasaidiana na county government hapa. Tutajenga soko ingine 6 ya milioni 300 in all the headquarters ya all the constituencies. Hapa Mandera we have a
That is the president when he was having that tour, and he was discussing some of the changes that he want to make. He want to make every Kenya to feel safe. That is why the chiefs, the chiefs that were arrested during that pre-planning for his tour in northeastern Kenya, he said that he's giving a last warning to the Al-Shabaab so that they can give back the chiefs. They can release the chiefs, because he will not allow this kind of abductions happening because of Al-Shabaabs, because northeastern has been neglected. Northeastern has been sparsely populated because of high rates of insecurity. Plus, the president is saying that he will make sure that anything that is behind those Al-Shabaabs is not there anymore.
Nice. Na heshimiwa othe megũkũ angĩ na andũ marauga nĩwe gavana ũrĩa ũroka, ta mũhũrĩre irũĩ tafadhali. By the way, we're very proud na Ketu wa Rũgũrũ kuma ũkũraikipia tondũ kuma hĩndĩ ya gĩthĩna gĩkĩ kĩambĩrĩirie, hĩndĩ ĩrĩa tuonire Gachagua ũrĩa ekwo matharau manene, nĩ twarakarire mũno.
Remain focused. Don't focus on the naysayers. And as I told you, my people wa Kakamega, Taifa Care is working and working miracles for many Kenyans. Watu ambao hawangeweza kujilipia bill za hospitali. Mimi kama mbunge nilikuwa nalipa shilingi 1,700 kwa Taifa Care. Mama kama huyu mama ameongea hapa, mkulima alikuwa nalipishwa shilingi 500. Sasa uko na nafasi kwa Social Health Insurance Fund ama Taifa Care. Mimi sababu mshahara yangu iko juu zaidi, nikatwe shilingi 27,500, 27,500, close to 20 times ile pesa nilikuwa nakatwa miaka miwili ilikuwa napita. But it is okay nikikatwa hiyo pesa na huyu mama mkulima na yeye alipe 300 ama 400 badala ya ile 500 alikuwa analipishwa ama 1,200, na apate huduma ya afya. That will be a good thing for us. Na sisi kama viongozi, we must be able to sacrifice on behalf of the people we represent. I want to encourage you, Your Excellency, perfect all these systems so that they work for the people of Kenya, ili tuwe yale mambo tuliwaahidi wananchi yanafanyika na yanatendeka. Mheshimiwa Rais, wakati ulisema mambo ni matatu na ukasema mkulima wa sukari atapata bonus, kuna wengine wengi walisema haiwezekani na wakasema hata wewe ni muongo. Sasa nataka niwaulize, bonus ndio hii imefika ama haijafika? Imefika, haijafika? Hiyo ndio tunaambiwa uongo. Mheshimiwa Rais, kama uongo ni kudanganya watu na unafanya, wewe sema na ufanye vile umefanyia watu wa Mumias na all the sugarcane farmers in Kenya. Pia Mheshimiwa Rais, ulituambia utadhibiti uchumi. And at a time when our country was on the blink of defaulting on debt, when the dollar was trading at 162 shillings, you told us you will first stabilize our economy, and you have done so, Your Excellency. But I must thank all these farmers. Vile waziri wetu wa kilimo ametuambia, Mheshimiwa Mutahi Kagwe, ni sababu ya juhudi za wakulima mukaweza kuzalisha sukari ya kutosha. Eti mwaka uliopita hatukuimport sukari kutumia shilingi kununua dollars, ili bei ya dola ikarudi chini. Sasa mkisikia dola Nairobi bei iko chini, sio kazi ya watu wengine, ni nyinyi wakulima ambao mnazalisha chakula. And we are not able to import food now. We are not importing sugar. We are producing enough sugar, enough even to export, kuuza nje, nchi za nje. Na Mheshimiwa Rais, nikushukuru sababu wakati ulituambia we focus on production and subsidies ya production ya fertilizer, ya seeds, mazao yake ndio tunaona leo. Nataka nikuambie Mheshimiwa Rais, usiwe na wasiwasi. Wewe sema na utende vile tunakujua. Wale wa kelele tuwaachie kelele. Kweli si kweli? Na Mheshimiwa Rais, mengi atasemwa. Mkulima aliye hapa, Governor Lusaka amewaambia, nafikiri Senator Boni Halwale, mkulima mwenye hapati bonus, mwenye hajauza miwa yake kwa hii factory, ako na nafasi kuzalisha miwa auze ili next year apate bonus.
That is Kimani Ichung'wah when he was speaking and is trying to defend the government. But you have seen how these leaders are still defending the government, and they are saying that the government is working, the SHA is working. The other day we saw Kenyatta National Hospital, whereby the Kenyatta National Hospital was having those issues. We also saw Nairobi Hospital having those issues, and also we have also having issues with the government developments. The projects that are being implemented by the government, they are not being seen. A project is being launched. I saw the other day there was a debate whereby someone was saying that the president is going to launch a transformer, and someone is going to the president is going to launch a very minor thing that only needs to be done by people who are very poor. But of course, not poor, but people who have no that supremacy. Because how can a president just go and send that transformer? How does that work? We're having a lot of issues with the developments of this country. That is why people are saying that the SHA is not working. We are saying that the government is not delivering, but the president is insisting, give us time. What is time? When? That is what Kenyans are saying. When are we going to allow this?
So wanasema ati I'm incompetent, hii mtu hakuna kitu anaelewa. Sasa kama serikali ni wizi tupu, sasa what is there to defend? Walinipeleka Senate ati nimekataa watu watolewe Nairobi River. Walinishitaki nimekataa watu wafukuzwe Marigiti Market. Those are things I could not do. Ukiangalia hii maneno ya affordable housing, it is the worst fraud against the people of Kenya. And it's good today I tell the country. And those are things he was telling me to go to TV to defend. I told him I will not. That housing, initially we believed in the president. That ni yakuleta ajira nini maneno kisugu mingi, we looked okay. Until it came to my attention, it has nothing to do with housing. Ni biashara. Yes. Ya kwamba PS wa housing. Ukitaka kujenga affordable housing, you must go and sign a subcontract na kampuni ile tauza simiti na chuma na mabati. Na hiyo kampuni watu wale wakubwa zaidi Kenya wako ndani ya wapi? So this housing levy inatolewa kwa watu ya Kenya is to make sure these houses are going on. Ndio hao wauze simiti, wauze chuma, wauze mabati. That is what the president is accusing me of not understanding and being incompetent. Sasa mimi nauliza, na mimi nataka niseme, I want to assure the people of Kenya, this team I see here, and when I listen to the people of Kenya, because I listen a lot, once a new government is sworn in, that housing levy will have to be abolished, so that we restore the dignity of the payslip. The dignity of the payslip. Wakenya wamehangaishwa zaidi. Na nimeona mpaka yule mkubwa ya wafanyikazi amekuwa ameingia kwa hiyo praise and worship team. Watu nakazwa mambo ya NSSF, mambo haongei. Kazi yake ni praise and worship. Those are the things sisi ambayo tumeshindwa kufanya. So finally ndio nimalize, because I wanted to tell the president, usidanganye wa Kenya, useme ukweli, tulikosania kwa
Gachagua is saying that usidanganye wa Kenya, and Aslam is really condemning the project that are being implemented by the government. Of course, the close friends of a president have been making headlines every day.
Ati nimesikia sababu amesikia rais akitembea kwa jamii ya Mulembe, wanaumaumwa, wanasema ati sasa amekuja kusema musanga lile. Hata mimi nitasema musanga lile.
Nilikuwa nasema sisi wote tuko Wakristo na tuongeane ukweli. Hata kama usiwe Mkristo wewe usiongee uongo. Unajua jana niliona picha nyingine. Kuna mahali Kalonzo alikuwa anaenda mazishi mahali. Niliona picha ya watoto wawili vijana wakubwa. Huyo mtu alikuwa PA wake wa ofisi kama hasa PA wa gavana. Lakini jana tuliona picha nyingine, tuliuliza Kalonzo, hiyo picha mbona inakaa kama wewe yote mbili? Na unadanganya watu watumbuka kanisani. Simkae tu kama mimi straightforward. Kama unafanya hii, fanya hiyo, ujulikane, unafanya hii, uko na bibi wangapi, uko na watoto wangapi. Kila watu wengi ni waongo. Hicho. Yesu haisirudi mbinguni. Atarudi kuchukua nani? Sio mimi mnajiuliza mbona Yesu arudi? Sio tayari? Kwa sababu tukiwa wadogo walisema mko tayari, Yesu anarudi. Hatujui saa wala siku wala tarehe. Si kweli? Na bado tuko hapo. Tunangojea Yesu every day. Lakini sasa kuna wengine pia ni waongo zaidi. Unajua usipretend kama wewe sio bishop, usikuje usimama hapo useme wewe ni bishop. Kaa tu kama Sudi. Mwenye hapa na matabu yake, lakini anajenga kanisa, anasaidia watu nini. Mungu pia ataona tu huko mbele aseme huyu mtu sio mbaya sana kwa sababu hakuna mtu mzuri. Kwa sababu sasa mimi kwa Joan Kalonzo ni mtu yeye si damu. Yaani niliona duplicate ya watoto wawili ya mfanyakazi wake. Hiyo ni hatari sana. Otherwise, mimi nataka niseme Mungu awabariki. Nimependa sana Ndutu. Anawaambia maneno ya sha, anawaambia maneno yote yenye mimi ningesema. Ile ya mwisho tu ndagusia. Huyu Ndutu huyu ni rafiki yangu sana. Tumekuwa na yeye tukitafuta mpesa barabara. Nikigonga huko kwa Davis wakati Burugu alikuwa pale, yeye pia hapo hapo. Hii barabara yetu hii imepata pesa sasa. Sasa mtaona wakikuja kuleta lami. Mpaka mulo mpaka kilele alafu tena ikuje mpaka Songo ikuje hivyo. So sisi wote tunafanya kazi kwa pamoja. Ana na yeye. Unaona ndo? Utaja wewe na mwana. Mtakaribisha tena. Kuna ile watu wetu kuna
Hey, that is Oscar Sudi when he was really slamming. Alikuwa ana condemn. Kulikuwa na picha fulani ilikuwa inatembea pale ya Kalonzo wakati alikuwa ameenda pale, kulikuwa na condolence walikuwa wanatuma kwa one of the close friends alikuwa Kalonzo kitambo. Sasa picha fulani ikatokea pale, walikuwa wanasema huyo mtoto alikuwa anafanana na Kalonzo. Wanasema huyo mtoto alikuwa anafanana na Kalonzo. Sasa huyo ni Oscar Sudi. Oscar Sudi hapo anasema anaangalia tu vile mambo iko, anaona yenyewe Kalonzo ni kama alikuwa anafanya mambo pale, mambo ambayo hawakubaliani nayo. Anyway, that is Oscar Sudi. You know, those are the close friends. Unaona TV unajua hawa ni wale karibu sana wa William Ruto. Wanasema kwamba wakiongea kitu lazima ikuwe inatendeka. Wakiona kitu wanasema, wakisema mambo na shaa, umeona Kimani Ichung'wah vile anasema, umeona vile Sudi anasema, ukiona amepenyeza pale anasema Sudi, anasema pia wataimpeach president kama ataanza pia hizo vitu za Gachagua za tribalism, hizo vitu za Gachagua nini, wataimpeach hapo. Ndio anasema huyo Oscar Sudi pale kwa mitandao akiongea. Siku hizi amekuwa akiposti sana pale kwa mitandao akisema kitu yoyote lazima ifanyike. Huyo ni Oscar Sudi. Sasa hizi amekuwa government spokesperson. Hivyo ndio wanasema pale kwa mitandao. Gipsy Corner, if you follow Sudi then you know he's the real comedian. He is one of the real guys that you will meet in this planet. Oscar Sudi the real spokesperson. Akisema kitu lazima inafanyika. Mzalendo, good evening.
Good evening, Boni. Wacha nisalimie Gypsy Corner. Gypsy, mambo gani haya? Habari gani?
Fiti kabisa. That is Gypsy Corner pale, namuona anasema anapenda sana Sudi. Sudi alikuwa amesema Raila akishinda ni sawa. Raila akishinda bado ni sawa. Atarudi na wamweke kwa serikali. Lakini president hajasema vitu kama hizo. Mzalendo, Valentines inaingia. Plans yako wa Valentines ni gani?
Baze, si mtafutie ka Valentine mahali. Mimi sina Valentine. So sina mpango ya Valentine hii mwaka. Pengine pale kwa comment section naweza tuma maua ama nitumiwe ka chocolate wakati wa hiyo Valentine. Kuna masherehe zingine, I don't remember the last time I celebrated sherehe kama hiyo. Wewe una mpango gani?
Nimetulia tu.
Mpango wangu siku ya Valentine ni kuangalia Raila Odinga na wafuasi wa Raila Odinga wakisherekea wakishinda AUC ama wakirudi na machozi. You know, yesterday jana tulikuwa tunaangalia vile Azimio itachukua opposition majority seat. Kumbe hawa watu hapo wa Azimio ni masarakasi tu, yani you know, they were just entertaining us. Some of these things usiwache ipite hivyo. Hii tulikuwa tuna entertainiwa tu na masarakasi ati hii kitu tunachukua, na vile na wanajua vizuri sana hawana numbers kule kwa parliament. So it's very very unfortunate. Wanazidi kudanganya watu. Wacha wakae kwa serikali kule. Tuta deal now 2027. Lakini baba akipata AUC inakuwa ni afueni kwa wale wanataka kugombea maviti kule sehemu za strongholds za ODM. Wanaweza chagua viongozi wale wanataka kwa mara ya kwanza.
Moses Wetangula alisema hawawezi kuwa majority.
Sikia vile Gypsy anasema kule ati Boni, you can be my Valentine. Yani wewe ati Boni wewe unaweza kuwa Valentine wangu. Gypsy hapo
atume hata 100, atume 200 hapo M-Pesa.
Gypsy hapo umeenda sana.
Tuma 200 hapo Gypsy Corner hapo. M-Pesa namba ndio hiyo.
Gypsy unaona ati Kenyan politics ni Netflix. Ni comedy. It's just full of comedy. I mean, it's a lot of nonsense. I don't know why we even stomach these leaders. Sometimes we are entertained with satires that we think that they really mean good for the country. It's nothing. I said many times I come to this show, I say this is a cabal, a group of looters who have come together, looting the country and pretending that they are against each other. While there are fundamental issues that affect the country, they don't even talk about them. This is a country where just the other day the president gave a free citizenship to neighboring Somalis who are in Dab camp, that there will be no scrutiny for them. And nobody is talking about such things. These are very important decisions made by the head of state. But yet Parliament cannot even discuss such important issues. They have got no time for important issues. The 13th Parliament is the most bogus Parliament. Hakuna kitu yata inafanya pale. Ni kukula tu pesa ya wananchi na kukula per diem. Then to entertain us with satires that, sasa Mimi nimekalia hii kiti ya majority, nimeona ni tamu sana. Ujinga mtupu, and then Wakenya wanafurahia ati sasa Junet ati amekalia kiti for 1 minute, and then tunafaa kushangilia ati huo ni kiongozi wetu amekaa kwa kiti ya majority. Yet there are fundamental issues that are affecting the people of Kenya. They can't even discuss them. Sasa security ya Kenya iko compromise. If you live abroad, wacha nikwambie, very very soon those are the countries zitawekwa kwa category ya Sudan na category ya kina Iran na nini. So those are things that we need to really talk about in parliament, but we don't have leaders who can raise up those issues because they are in this broad-based government that they think broadly for the people of Kenya.
Lakini leo wamepigana hapo mpaka watu walikuwa wanasema sasa hii parliament sasa inafaa itolewe yote tupate parliament mpya. Wanapigana sana, wanarushana maneno pale, kina Wetangula, kina Junet pale, kina Otiende. Wanaendanga kufanya debate.
Hizi ndio nakwambia, hizi ni comedy, hizi ni comedy. Hizo wanafanya ndio, unajua hakuna, hizo wanafanya ndio wale wanapigia kura wazidi kuwapigia kura. These are just things to entertain you the voter who is coming from Otiende Amolo's constituency. He is attending you with a lot of law which he knows very well is not going anywhere with it. He is already in the broad-based government. He cannot contradict his party leader who is working with the government, and they are working with the government. So what are they talking about? How would you remove Ichungwa? What grounds will you be having that you are the majority, yet you know you are in the broad-based government, yet you know a few years down the road you have lost that mandate? Hao wenyewe wanasema Azimio ilikufa kitambo, then all of a sudden Azimio sasa imefufuka, we are the majority. Kalonzo akipigania whatever he wants to fight, he's saying that Azimio died a long time ago. Then sazile kuna kiti imeonekana ati sasa hao ndio watu wa Azimio wamejitokelezea. Sazile Kalonzo, kesho maybe Kalonzo atakuwa na meeting ya Azimio, utaona Junet Mohamed hapo? Hakuna, hautaona. So ni ujinga mtupu. We are being entertained with this nonsense.
Sasa wakitoa Wetangula naye ataingia hapo.
Speaker wa National Assembly anapigiwa kura. So wakitoa Junet Mohamed, ni jina ndio zitapeanwa na wapigie kura whoever ule atachukua hiyo speaker.
Ama atarudisha Farah Maalim hapo.
Farah ule ende refugee camp huko Dabdaba. Hata hao ni watu wengine, hata they don't even deserve to have leadership. Huyo alikuwa Wiper anaongea mbaya ati vijana wawawe. That's an idiot. That guy, he doesn't even deserve to be in parliament. Yet we entertain some stupid fellows like Farah Maalim because they are lawyers. Ujinga tu. Mimi nakwambia Kenya is so annoying. Yani if you see leaders, that is so annoying. Ndio sasa zingine unasema hawa ni viongozi wanafaa, kama ilikuwa ni ile wakati wa Gen Z when they conquered parliament, walikuwa wachukue hao viongozi waweke mali moja, watandikwe viboko. Watandikwe viboko mpaka watii, yani ndio, yani mpaka waombe msamaha. Unaona vile Gen Z uprising came, they were running to the village and even kneeling down and saying bazetu pole tulikosea, hatutarudia tena. These parliamentarians should be treated like that. We employ them, not the other way around. They don't have powers over us. We have powers over them.
Asa mzalendo unasema Farah Maalim aende, na unajua kuna familia yake itakula nini?
Waende huko Dadaab camp, wataenda huko refugee camp wakae huko.
Hapo nimeona mahali wanasema saa hiyo wakitoa huyo Moses Wetangula wataleta Didmas Baraza hapo, ama Makali John.
Didmas kwanza, hiyo jina yake Didmas Baraza kwanza, hiyo jina yenyewe kuwa speaker wa assembly. Wewe Didmas Baraza anataka kuwa governor kule. These are people without any integrity. They don't even, they are all fit hata ku hold any public office. Wako tu pale tu. But Kenya, those are our standards. So tukae tuvumilie. Maybe tuna miaka kama 2 tu za kuvumilia ama 10 za kuvumilia, lakini baada hiyo Wakenya watavumilia tena.
Zalendo, mbona utaki Didmas akuwe hapo? Mimi napenda comedy yake akiwa hapo kwa senator, kwa speaker hapo kiti yake. Na hiyo kofia yake akiwa hapo. Anaweza toa maoni nyingine hapo hata ushangae sana. Unajua ni dictator kifulani.
Unajua speaker wa assembly anafaa kuwa neutral whenever they are deliberating in the assembly. That is the speaker of the assembly, and in both houses, Senate na the National Assembly Parliament. That is why they are supposed to resign from their political parties if they had any, na warudi kwa nini wakuja wapeane jina wapigiwe kura, and they swear that they will uphold the constitution and try to be neutral whenever they're deliberating on issues, because somebody like Wetangula, this guy is openly biased. He's openly biased. There's no ruling that you will not favor UDA. And there is nobody in UDA who can stand against William Ruto and tell him, hey, Mr. President, we are in your party, but this is wrong. Hakuna, there's nobody like that. Hakuna mtu kama huyo at all. And neither there's any other person in the opposition who can stand against Ruto right now. Apart from watu wengine wachache wale napiga kelele huku nje. But there is nobody who's a leader who can stand against the principles of William Ruto, of family. Even Kalonzo, he has been given an opportunity to now be the leader of the opposition. He is not coming out like this strong power, anakuja anatembea na matumbu watu wake, anatuambia ati yeye ndio atakuwa president next. Kenya needs, we need to see Kalonzo beyond the press conferences zile anafanya. We need to see Kalonzo mobilizing Kamkunji, anakuwa na rally kubwa sana after hii announcement ya Northeastern. But as he even talk about it, he's more of a diplomatic leader. Huyo tutampatia kuwa ambassador wa sijui wapi.
Kalonzo ataweza ongoza hii serikali sana wewe. Kwanza hii serikali inataka mtu mpole kama Kalonzo. Acha wenye wanampika kwa siasa wanasema ati ni betrayal nini.
Siasa, unajua mambo ya siasa ni vitu ngapi? Moja, kuna vitu mbili, either ukitaka kuingia kwa hii siasa ukuwe mwanasiasa, ukitaka kukua bishop ukuwe bishop, ukitaka kuwa mwalimu ende uwe mwalimu, fundisha watu kwa darasa kule ama lecturer. Kalonzo na hiyo pole yake apeleke kule kwa diocese ya Catholic. Siasa ina upole.
Haina upole aje. Zina nakwambia sasa rais anataka mtu kama ule mwenye na control watu polepole, ana haraka nini. Kalonzo unajua ni mpole nini. Sasa Wakenya watampigia Kalonzo kura, naona hivyo 2027. Pale kwa kiti kwanza ya Speaker of the National Assembly. Wewe unaona nani anaingia pale? Because mimi nataka tu Didmas Baraza ingie pale. Baraza ingie pale.
Wewe zidi kuota ndoto. Didmas Baraza ataingiaje kwa speaker wa parliament? Na kwani hiyo kiti iko wazi? Hiyo kiti iko wazi ama ni hizi ni ndoto gani unaota mchana? Kiti ya
replace, unajua ni mluya.
Wewe hiyo kiti ya speaker sio ya Waluya. Hiyo kiti ya speaker haijakuwa wazi, iko na mtu sahihi, iko na Wetangula. Nani amekuambia speaker iko wazi? Nani amekuambia kiti ya speaker iko wazi?
Wazi, si Wetangula wanataka kumtoa.
Nani anataka kutoa Wetangula?
Azmi nataka atolewe. Siliona huyo Kenyatta, huyo Teddy Kenyatta alisema atamuondoa. Nataka kumuondoa hapo hivi ndio
wewe sikiza. Ruto si mjinga, Ruto ni mjanja kwa siasa. Ile kitu wafuasi ukiona Sudi amesema nini? Tafuta Sudi amesema nini juu ya Wetangula. Ndio utajua Ruto amesema nini. Tafuta ile kitu Sudi anasema sahihi kuhusu siasa. Ndio utajua rais anasema nini. Ndio Sudi ndio spokesperson wa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Sudi akisema kitu hiyo itafanyika. But so long as ufuati Sudi na ujui Sudi amesema nini, hizo zote ni hot hair. Ati kutoa Wetangula.
Sudi alisema wataimbicha hata watatoa president pia. Sudi alisema watatoa president.
Mimi nakwambia wacha kunientertain na vitimbi vioja mahakamani. Hizo ni
wacha nikuplay hiyo clip yake akisema hivyo.
Sitaki hata kuona hiyo clip. Hizo ni ufala. That is nonsensical. Yani hizo ni story ya people who are unserious, people who are not even concerned about the country. Yani ile Sudi anacheza hizo na anakuchezea akili na mnaamini. So Sudi ataimpichaje president?
Sasa unajua Sudi akisema kitu inafanyika. Wewe ndio unasema hivyo saa hii. Na nikitaka kukuchezea clip ya Sudi akisema wataimpeach president unakataa.
Wewe chezea wale wafuasi wanafuata hizo vitu za ujinga. Saa zingine Sudi anasema kuna zile vitu serious Sudi anasema which are serious. Hii ni ya kujanganya tu watu na kupumbuza watu akili.
Juzi Sudi amesema watachukua wanatembea wamlete kwa serikali.
Ati?
Natembea Sudi alisema ataleta
Natembea. That's a possibility. Na hiyo wanafanya sababu gani? Natembea, if he proves that he is stronger than Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula in Lualand, he is the next vice president. Na hiyo ni akili ile wametoa. Hiyo ni unajua Sudi ni mjanja sana. Anajua hii group ya Kalonzo na Gachagua ikienda way ahead of them. Hii group ya Kalonzo na Gachagua wakienda ahead of Kenya Kwanza na wachague Mluya kama Natembea kuwa flag bearer wa Azimio. That is the end of William Ruto. If the Kikuyu community are going to support the Luya backed by the Kamba community, that is the end. Hiyo game yake imeisha. Alafu ukae kujua backed by also Gen Z huko nyuma. Hiyo ni game short. Hiyo ni game short. So they have already predicted the politics. Siasa ya saa hii it's about numbers. Tunaweza tuingie kwa ukabila, it's about numbers. Ukitaka kujua siasa ya Kenya inaenda wapi and why William Ruto is going to Northeastern and trying to entice the Somali community, it is because the Somali community is coming with 3 million people. In the Dadaab camp alone, we have 400,000 unregistered members of UDA. Wako pale Dadaab camp wanangojea registration. Au wanatoka Burundi, wanatoka Somali, nani wako pale Dadaab. When they're given registration, be rest assured that Farah Maalim ataingia bunge wakati wowote ile wanataka. And they have told you, they have got a big agenda. Saizi as we speak, in the Kenyan forces, zote discipline. Number 1, community is the Kikuyu. Number 2, Kalenjin. Number 3, Somali. In that sequence, wako hivyo. Na ukikae ukijua, that is the game plan. So siasa ni numbers. Sahi unaona why people are running for census in Northeastern, because Northeastern has got the numbers. They want to occupy number 3, number 4. Communities like Luo watakuwa huko number 4, 5. They have got nothing to offer in the metrics of tribalism in our politics. Hakuna kitu na offer. So ile numbers ile iko ni Luya. If the Kikuyu community can get a Luya candidate backed by the Kamba community, that's game shot. And the new voting bloc, which is the Gen Z, game imeisha hapo. So I know William Ruto is smart. He has already realized that, and that is why he's looking for a new voting block that ijakuwa pale.
Acha waingiane hapo. Natembea sasa atakuwa anasema hapo kila kitu iko sawa kwa serikali. Mlembe sasa itakuwa kwa serikali. Niliona Zudi anasema watamuingiza kwa serikali, sasa nikasema basi. Sasa Wetangula sasa tisho sasa wakiwa na Mudavadi pale sasa.
No, they want, unajua Netembea wakimuingiza kwa serikali, they want to finish Netembea politically, because Netembea is the rising star in Western Kenya. So once they finish Netembea inakuwa ni siasa rahisi sana kule Western, because the agenda ya Netembea na hii chama chake cha Tawe chama chake ya Tawe and creating awareness ya Waluya community, it's far much important than what Mudavadi and Wetangula are selling at the moment to the Luya community.
Sasa unasema Waluya sasa watakuwa wamezima kabisa wakichukua, lakini kuna watu wengi akina Didmas Baraza pale yaani wako wengi sana akina Makali.
Didmas bado anagombea, anataka kuwa governor, yuko mbali sana na rais wa Kenya.
Kuna Makali John, huyo MP wa Kandui, kuna akina Tuoli, wako wengi.
Sasa unaniambia Atuoli ule mtu alikuwa pale anaweka benga, anaweka kina Tabule Biliambel kule Kajiado na kina baba na kura inaibiwa hapo, wanacheza Biliambel. Hao ni wapuzi. Atuoli ni mtu hajawahi hata saidia wafanyakazi wa Kenya. What decisions has Atuoli ever made to help the people?
Sana za kuwa amekaa hapo kutoka 2000 na hajaifanya 25 years hajaisaidia.
Niambie ni nani amesaidia? Ni industry gani Atuoli ameleta? Ama ni wakazi gani wafanya kazi gani amewatetea ili wapate
mtu aseme shenzi sana tu iko sawa. Akisema shenzi sana hapo iko sawa.
Hiyo shenzi sana ni kwa wale wanaotoa siasa, wale wanafuata vitu za ushenzi. Mimi sifuatagi vitu za ushenzi, naangalia vitu za ukweli, zile zinazosaidia raia wa kawaida. Sifuatagi vitu siasa za ushenzi.
So unasema tu Atuoli anaweza kuwa hapo 25 years na hakuna kitu amefanya?
Yeye ni kujinunulia mabling bling na kufurusha tumbo kama mimi tu. Hakuna kitu kingine. Anajilisha na kuongeza wanawake maybe. Ile nyingine unaniambia hakuna kitu yote amefanya bwana.
Lakini Waluya wako na kingpin bwana. Wako kingpin wazito. Sichezee Waluya wako kwa serikali 2027. Unaona vile wametulia hapa akina Wetangula akina Mudavadi hapo.
Unajua Waluya and Waluya wamejua hii game ya siasa kushinda the community where I come from. How in each and every consecutive governments wako. Unaona? Kuna wale wako kwa opposition wanatu entertain pale, na kuna wale pia wanakula kwa serikali pale. Sisi tumekaa kwa opposition sijui miaka sijui ngapi, saizi tumelambishwa viti tatu sijui 2. Tumemea hata mkia ndio tayari tunapiga mkia, ni kama mkia ya nyani. Tunafurahi kupendukia. Ukiona ndugu yangu pale Eli amefurahi, ni kama hawajawahi ona kiti kama hiyo maisha yao yote. So hizo ndio siasa duni na maendeleo duni ndio inaleta mambo kama hayo. Kufurahia vitu zingine hata hazitufai hata kidogo.
Uzuri wa Waluya wanakuanga united, lakini Wajaluo unaona wako divided mostly. Kama juzi baba tu anaweza pea tu.
Wewe nakwambiaga wewe jua siasa. Hakuna wakati Waluo wako divided. Waluo wako united.
Sasa mbona baba alimpatia Sakaja hiyo kiti? Mbona alisema kijana yangu atakuwa anaongoza Nairobi? Na babu Wongili wako hapo.
Hiyo ni kwa sababu Bwana Sakaja aliorganize ile hafla ya prayer na fedha zake ama fedha za county tuseme na speculate, lakini yeye ndiye alidhamini chama cha ODM na wafuasi wake kukuwa na kile hafla. So ile kwa sababu sisi tumezoea ile tumezoea kupewa, then lazima tumpatie pia kitu, unaona. So ile kitu baba aliweza kufanya ni kumwahidi ya kwamba mimi hii kiti nitakuachia, hakuna mgombeaji wowote ule atakuja. Lakini ukiangalia, sikia, na hii ni important sana, kuna mgombeaji huyu MP wa Westlands, huyu MP wa Westlands, ndugie Wetangula, anaitwaje huyu? Na msahau jina itakuja. Alikuwa anataka governor mwaka uje, anaitwa Tim Wanyonyi. Tim Wanyonyi alikuwa anataka hii kiti, na hii kiti hajaipata. Hii kiti hajawahi pata. Tim Wanyonyi alikuwa anataka hii kiti, na kiti hajawahi ipata. So shida ni Tim amejaribu sana, na Tim pia amesema yeye raundi hii hakuna mtu anawachia kiti, anawachia kiti. So hizi siasa zimeendelea hivyo.
Sasa unajua, mimi chenye najua tu Wajaluo wako divided ni mbona sasa Baba Wino. Hata leo umeona info track, sijui kama umeona Baba Wino is the leading bwana, anaongoza kwa MPs wenye wanafanya kazi akifuata na Didi Nyoro. Hii inamaanisha aje?
Inamaanisha
hata Heri Wakamba kwanza.
Heri Wakamba niko divided aje? Tunajua Jaluo ufuata Raila Odinga. Hata wale wako na akili kama ndugu yangu pale chini, Beautiful Belfast, pale chini, hao ni watu wanaofuata hata awe na masomo aina gani. Hao ni watu wakiambiwa left wanaenda left, wakiambiwa right wanaenda right. Hakuna mahali, hakuna saa zile wanafikiria. Ni kama hii mnyama inaitwa warthog. Unajua warthog kama njiri na Kijaluo? Hiyo mnyama huwa ikianza kufukuzwa na simba ama ikianza kufukuzwa na kitu na mnyama wote inataka ikue dina yake ya siku hiyo, inakimbia mbio, alafu inasimama, inasahau, inaanza kurudi ati ilikuwa inafukuzwa, inasahau, inakuja inajipeana, inasema sasa ni kule tu. Sasa kina Eli wako hivyo, ni wanakimbia mbio wakidhani wanafukuza kitu ya maana, but hakuna. Kidogo wakirudi wakishakulwa, sasa kama saa hii wako ndani ya UDA, watamezwa. Wakishamezwa basi ni hivyo.
Ni vile niliona Leo Nyambaya ameshaingia kwa serikali. Nilishangaa sana.
Bana, mimi nakwambia hii group ni ile watu wa left right, hakuna kitu yote wanafikiria beyond hiyo. Hawana akili yao wenyewe, wanakontroliwa remotely. Wanakontroliwa remotely. So hii group ni hiyo, wanakontroliwa remotely na kiongozi wao. So lazima uelewe siasa ya Nyanza inaelekea kivipi. Kuna wale wameamua hawatakontroliwa remotely, na ndio maana sisi tunasema hii kiti ya AUC lazima Raila aishinde, na tunaomba Mungu sana aipate. Akishaipata maybe watu watakuja na kuwa na ufahamu, wajue uzuri wa kuleta maendeleo katika constituency ile unatoka. Babu Owino anatoka pale Embakasi, ameleta maendeleo zaidi kushinda kiongozi wowote kule Nyanza, but kwa chama yake ya ODM, but chama yake zingatii hiyo maendeleo ile ameleta. Wanazingatia kitu inaitwa loyalty, fidelity to the party leader, not to the party. So hiyo ndio kitu nawasumbua sana. Hawaangalii kuwa huyu kiongozi anafanya kazi na watu wanampenda. Wanaangalia yeye ana uhusiano gani na mwenye chama. wa party. So hiyo ndio inatusumbua sana. Wacha niachie na Jared pia nafasi ya seme yake.
Jared, unaonaje? Wajaliwa wako divided ama wako sawa? Juzi tuliona Raila akipatia Sakaja ticket ya 2027. Inaonyesha Wajaliwa wako divided na wako kimoja.
How are you Mzalendo? On that particular question, I don't think that they are divided. I don't think that they are divided at all. But you know what I see is an awakened society where people are starting to think for themselves. For example, on this issue of Raila Odinga purportedly endorsing Johnston Sakaja, there are people who are saying, no, we are in ODM, we respect you, Baba, but when you try to take us to Sakaja, we'll tell you no. And they have their reasons why they are saying they'll tell Raila no if he tells them that, you know, Sakaja is the man. One, they are saying that there is no single day Sakaja has ever supported Raila Odinga. In 2013, Sakaja supported Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. In 2017, he supported Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. In 2022, when he could have supported Raila Odinga, he supported William Samoei Ruto. The second point on why people are saying that they cannot go the Sakaja way is his performance. In fact, Sakaja turned out to be a non-performer, worse than Sonko. In fact, there are people who are saying that, you know, Sonko was a better governor than, you know, Johnston Sakaja. The third point is on corruption. There are people who believe that Sakaja is basically at the city hall to loot and to amass. So, you know, given those reasons, the ODM members, many that I've even spoken to, and they could be lawyers, they could be members from the Luo community, who are saying that if Raila Odinga decides to stick with Sakaja, then they'll not vote for Sakaja. They'll vote for somebody else. So that does not mean that they are divided, but, you know, they are just disagreeing on opinion by saying that, you know, this time round, Baba, if you decide to say it's Sakaja, we not support Sakaja and we are not going to vote for Sakaja. And, you know, I believe it's a good thing.
Hey, that is other Sakaja being endorsed by Raila Odinga. Of course, Wangira, what do you think Wetangula's ruling and about Wetangula ruling and later the AUC? Of course, the ruling ya Wetangula pale, unaonaje vile alisema leo pia alisema that Kenya Kwanza is the one with a lot of members.
You know, my understanding of the court judgment was very simple. You know, if you look at the political parties act, there's what we call the pre-election and the post-election coalitions, and there's a reason why, you know, it's either pre or post. For example, if you enter into a pre-election coalition, then, you know, you are going to the people of Kenya telling them that, you know, you belong to a particular coalition, and they are voting for you on the basis of believing that you belong to a particular coalition. For example, this party from Northern Kenya, it's UDM or something, that had a pre-election coalition with Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, a party that has 14 members of parliament. That was a pre-election coalition. And they campaigned in Marsabit, I remember, in parts of Wajir, I remember, saying that they were part of Azimio la Umoja. So to me, it would be conmanship that, you know, after you are elected on the basis of belonging to a coalition, then you want to jump ship and say that you want to go to the other side. And that's what the court judgment was trying to remedy. The court judgment was very, very clear that the majority and the minority issue was the majority and the minority issue was decided on by the people of Kenya. Or when we went for elections, I believe that could have been on the 9th of August 2022. The matter was decided on and it was settled because we knew which parties were in Azimio and we knew which parties were in Kenya Kwanza. Funnily, Wetangula is making a mistake. One thing is a seasoned lawyer, but he's making a serious mistake that will end up eating him. And if he's not very, very careful, he could end up being impeached on the basis of his misbehavior as the Speaker of the National Assembly. The court of law has pronounced itself, and it has said that, the issue of the majority and minority was decided on the 9th of August when the people of Kenya went to elect, when they went to the elections and they elected their leaders. So you cannot purport that, you cannot now come up with your own interpretation to tell us that, that the circumstances keep on changing. Look at even the other jurisdictions like the United States. You just know that who are the majority and who are the minority, after the election. Because, people go knowing that, I'm voting this end or I'm voting the other end. And it's supposed to be the same scenario here. But you want to tell us that, the issue of the majority and the minority can change the way the weather changes. That's not possible. That's not possible because the people of Kenya decided. For example, in this party, I'm just forgetting its name, the party that was in Marsabit and Wajir, UD something, I think it's UDM. That party was in a coalition with it had a coalition agreement with Azimio la Umoja. The party that produced the Speaker for the Senate, had a similar arrangement. Another party, I believe, was Maendeleo Chap. They entered into an arrangement with Azimio la Umoja, one Kenya, and they were elected on the basis that they were in an arrangement with Azimio la Umoja, one Kenya. Then, after the people of Kenya have elected you on the basis of believing that you're in Azimio la Umoja, one Kenya, how can you purport to jump ship? If you want to jump ship, then you tell your people to resign so that they go and seek for fresh mandate. That's how it happens. Because the election, I believe, trying to look at how the political parties act is structured. If you jump from party A and you go to party B, then you lose your position and you have to go and seek the fresh mandate. The same philosophy should be applied to people who belong to a party that is in a coalition with other political parties, and they end up jumping ship after an election has been done. So I tend to think that Wetangula is making a big mistake, a very, very big mistake. One, this was a 3-judge bench. These are 3 judges who decided on that matter. Then Wetangula cannot stand on the way of a judgment of 3 judges. He's already in contempt of he's already in the contempt of that judgment. I heard him say that they are going to appeal. You can only appeal. You can only go before a bench. You can only go before judges. With clean hands. Whoever seeks equity, they say, comes with clean hands. Wetangula, where he stands, he does not have clean hands, so he cannot seek for equity. How do you go for seeking for an appeal on a matter when you have already disobeyed, what the judges at a lower court, decided on? Then how do you move to the Court of Appeal? That is enough ground for him not to be even heard, because he never implemented what the High Court said. So, where Wetangula is standing, he's standing at a very, very bad place. And even the politics that I've seen play out, you remember, Junet Mohammed saying that it's going to be messy. And I tend to believe that it's going to be messy. It's going to get messy going forward, and especially if Raila Odinga does not win, the African Union Commission seat on Saturday, this thing will become very, very messy, because ODM are likely to position themselves. For the first time since June last year, I saw, Azimio la Umoja coming out as Azimio la Umoja and standing out as Azimio la Umoja. And, that should be a signal that everything, not all is well for William Samoei Ruto, Moses Wetangula, and the entire Kenya Kwanza brigade. That tells you that, at any time, Azimio la Umoja could decide to go against them. So it's not a very, very good thing. And if Wetangula is not careful, where I stand today, if Wetangula is not very, very careful, they are going to use this thing as an excuse of removing him as Speaker of the National Assembly. He might end up getting removed as Speaker if he's not very, very careful.
Hey, Jared is saying that Wetangula might end up being eliminated from that position of the Speaker of the National Assembly. Now they are suggesting the names, and they are suggesting the likes of Didimas Baraza, the likes of Makale John. Jerome, would you support to replace Wetangula if at any point he's impeached?
I think maybe.
Okay.
Sorry, just go ahead.
Who was suggesting those names? I could be behind news.
In the social media, they are saying that I follow what happens mostly on Twitter. So when in the Twitter space, they are saying that they want Baraza, they want Makale John, they want those members for parliament from the Luya community to be the next speaker.
Let me tell you one thing. I understand that this evening, Junet Mohammed, together with Kimani Ichung'wah, were summoned to State House, Nairobi. And I believe that the reason why they were summoned is to try and cool things. And, just like I've told you, going forward, and especially if Raila Odinga does not become the chair of the African Union Commission, there's likely to be trouble. And one of the demands by ODM could be that we remove, Wetangula. Then you're asking me if they were to remove Wetangula, who would be the replacement? Already ODM has their name as a replacement in the name of Otiende Amolo. So where things stand, ODM, is we remove Wetangula, then we replace him with Otiende Amolo. So, this issue of Dismas Balasa and whoever you have called, does not arise. Where ODM stands is we remove Wetangula, then we have Otiende Amolo to put him there. And that's why Junet Mohammed was telling us that it's not going to be business as usual, and it's going to be messy. And you remember, even say that, in parliament, they don't feel that broad-based, the broad-based government is only being felt in the executive. And he purported that in parliament, they don't feel that broad-based government because of, the manner that Wetangula is conducting parliament. But not parliament, but the National Assembly.
Anyway, I maybe just to interject a bit is that what I feel, Wangira, is that okay, the courts have ruled that the speaker is there illegally and should be, but it has not recommended his removal. Those are two different things. Now it is up to Parliament to interpret what the court have ruled. Now we know the procedures of Parliament. So in such matters, a motion has to be brought to the floor of the House for the removal of the Speaker, and therefore a vote will have to take place in Parliament. Now with the bread-based government or the broad-based government, do you see a scenario where they will remove Wetangula and replace Wetangula with whoever so pleases the executive or the broad-based government?
Let me tell you this. One, let me start with the judgment. The issue that was determined by the court was on on when was the majority and the minority decided, they arrived on, and the court was very clear that that matter was settled on 9th of August 2022, when the people of Kenya voted. Because through the vote, we knew who was the majority and the minority. That was a very clear pronunciation by the court, and Wetangula was supposed just to have implemented that thing as simply as it was decided on by the court. Secondly, on the issue of whether Wetangula was by holding the two position of speaker and party leader of Fort Kenya, this thing came as an obiter. An obiter in law is what we call, by the way, it's just a comment. It's just a comment. You remember during, you remember Raila Odinga tried to use an obiter in 2017, not to go for the second round of the election, and later on, the court ruled that that was an obiter because it was not the subsistence of the matter, when the presidential elections of 2013, were being argued. So the issue of whether Wetangula should hold the speaker and the chairmanship or the party leadership of Fort Kenya came as an obiter. So, there was no conclusive decision by the court on that matter. But now where things stand is, on the violation of what the court determined, because the court was very, very clear that, Wetangula, by declaring Kenya Kwanza the majority, the court said that he violated the constitution, and very, very clearly that violation of the constitution of Kenya is a serious thing and is a ground for removal. One of the grounds why Rigathi Gachagua was removed as deputy president of the Republic of Kenya was on violation of the constitution. So Wetangula violated the constitution, and for the second time today, he has again violated the same constitution by not implementing what the court ruled. So, where we stand, I don't see how Wetangula will survive. And, I've told you, depending on how the outcome of the outcomes of the African Union Commission elections, they are going to determine a lot of things. For example, if Azimio la Umoja continue with the hard stand that they have taken, and very well that William Samoei Ruto has lost a number of members of parliament, after the Rigathi Gachagua impeachment, he has lost a number of them who are no longer on the Kenya Kwanza side. Then that will give Kenya Kwanza a problem in transacting matters in parliament. So if you're to be told to make a small sacrifice, if ODM was to tell William Ruto to make a small sacrifice, the way they made a small sacrifice by removing Rigathi Gachagua, by removing Rigathi Gachagua, ODM was making a small sacrifice. So there's what we say: you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So it is the turn for it will be the turn for William Samoei Ruto to make the small sacrifice by scratching the back of ODM, and ODM, I'm very sure, will demand for the removal of Wetangula. And ODM has never forgiven Wetangula for what Wetangula did to them. There are many wrong things that Wetangula did for ODM, and ODM have never forgiven him. And I believe that payback time has now come. And believe you me, very, very soon, and depending on how things are going to play in Addis Ababa on Saturday, Wetangula, we can give him another 2-3 months, just like in the case of Rigathi Gachagua, and he will be out of that seat.
Yes, I think maybe what Wetangula, where I differ with you is that one is Wetangula's ruling today. Just as the court has directed, the High Court said that Wetangula had no powers to reassign members of political parties to Kenya Kwanza. But today he tabled or he mentioned that according to the register of political parties, these people have already moved out of the Azimio coalition. And he mentioned those political parties. And today, as it stands, Kenya Kwanza has got 165 members, while Azimio has got 154 members. So he also mentioned that the arrangements that the post-election arrangements between the political parties from various movements, including Azimio, some of them had moved from Azimio and joined Kenya Kwanza, and vice versa, for contributing to now what we call Kenya Kwanza having the majority in the House. So I think it can be interpreted that way, in a better way, that is ruling
You know,
today.
let me just say something.
Yes.
Let me just say something. You know, they say that in law, they say if you have an issue with a judgment, you either appeal or seek for a review of the matter. If Wetangula had an issue with the judgment, the best thing would have been to either appeal or seek for the review of the judgment. Because the judgment was very, very clear that the issue of the majority and the minority was decided on the 9th of August, which means, you know, it was decided on via what was, you know, the pre-election arrangement within the political parties. You know, that's what the court ruled. So if Wetangula has an issue with that particular pronouncement by the court, you know, you make an appeal. But you know, what we saw Wetangula try to do, you know, he was trying to amend a judgment of the High Court. Do you amend a judgment of the High Court, or do you appeal against the judgment of the High Court when you don't agree with it? You know, those are the questions that we need to ask.
Yeah. You see, Parliament. Parliament is independent. They cannot amend the ruling of the High Court, but they can address it legislatively in Parliament. But that is what exactly Wetangula did. They can do a legislative address on the issues that was pronounced in court, and that is what they did today by pronouncing that indeed the courts were saying I cannot assign. But now this is what is
I disagree with you. Listen, I disagree with you, and let me tell you the reason why I disagree with you. For example, if I'm declared as member of parliament for Embakasi East, assuming I'm taking your argument that, you know, parliament can amend, can parliament amend and decide that I'm not member of parliament for Embakasi East and somebody else is? It can't.
The court. Listen, the court.
And that's why I'm telling you that the court was very, very clear. The court said that the issue of the majority had settled. It was an issue that was settled through a pre-election arrangement within political parties before we went for.
Wangira, I'm losing you. Are you still there?
What are we saying Wetangula trying to do? Wetangula, you know, Wetangula is trying to amend the ruling of the High Court through his own pronouncements, you know, which is already a contempt of court. That's a contempt of court. You know, what he could have done.
Wangira, you are getting it. You are getting it wrong.
Simple ruling.
Wetangula.
Okay, let me finish. Then you'll come in.
Yes.
Understanding. Per my understanding, this is what Wetangula was supposed to have done. He would have told parliamentarians that, according to the judgment, they have said that, you know, the issue of the majority and the minority was decided on during the elections in 2022. Before, as we move to the...
I don't know why we are losing you, Wangira. And yet you had very, very nice points. Wangira, we have lost you. We have lost Wangira. Wangira, are you still there? Well, I think we have lost Wangira. Yes, we have lost. Oh, Wangira is back. We lost him. Wangira, we lost you. Karibu tena. Did you finish your submission?
Okay, let me just say, if I was Wetangula and I was the Speaker of National Assembly, this is what I could have done. I could have told members of parliament that we are going to appeal the decision of the High Court. But before we appeal the decision of the High Court, let us adhere to the decision. And because we are adhering to the decision, today I pronounce Azimio la Umoja as the majority and Kenya Kwanza as the minority. Simple. That could have made it as simple as anything else.
Yeah, you see, you are right. You are right. They can appeal they can appeal in the Court of Appeal against the ruling by the High Court. But again, know that Parliament can also amend the rulings. That they cannot change the rulings that were made, but they can come with new rulings in Parliament to counter what the High Court had ruled against. That one you also have to know, and that is what they did. They came up with the new rulings that counters what the High Court had ruled, and that is within their right as Parliament. Remember, that is an arm of the of government, and judiciary is also independent, can make those independent decisions. That is why judiciary can recommend that, yes, this was not right. So go back and do something that is right. So that is what Wetangula actually did. So that is within the law. That is within now the law. So if somebody goes again to court on the same matter, they will be referred, it will be ruled again differently, because Wetangula will cite that this is what we did to rectify the situation. So there's a lot of discourse that will play around that issue. But I think both Wetangula as a lawyer knows very well what he ought to have done, and he did it today by citing that the political parties, indeed, these people had already moved from Azimio coalition as they had agreed, and now are members of Kenya Kwanza. So that was not well interpreted when that matter was taken to court the last time. That matter was being taken to the High Court. So the High Court was ruling on a matter that was taken prior to these political movements coming out from Azimio and writing to the political parties that we have indeed come out of the Azimio coalition, and now we are in Kenya Kwanza. So Wetangula is just within his right, Mr. Wangira. And the court rulings cannot be changed by the speaker. They will remain those rulings, but Parliament can amend the rulings of the High Court in Parliament to address the issue that is before hand. Yes, Wangira. Wangira, are you there? Wangira, are you there? Another issue that is rising up is that you mentioned Wangira mentioned that today the president summoned the minority leader and the majority leader to State House. Yeah, this is the broader it's called what? The broad-based government that is coming together to work together. I always say that they look after each other. So what they were entertaining us with, and we should not even take seriously, is the issue of majority in parliament. Once that is over, they're just warming up for another political discourse until we reach 2027. So there are so many issues that will take place within the next few days. And remember, Baba is also running for the AU seat. We pray for him and those who are with him in Ethiopia, those who have accompanied Baba for this particular seat, or AUC commission seat. I think we'll know the decision by Sunday, whether Raila Odinga will be the new AUC commission chairman. So we wish the members of ODM good luck wherever they are, and may Baba come back with the seat. I hope that this time round hatutalia machozi, that hii kiti imetuponyoka. So there is a team that is with Baba. Yes, Awesome is saying that, what is Awesome saying? Members of parliament from UDA side are 165, Azimio are 154. Therefore, I don't know why Azimio side think that they are the majority. No, Azimio side think that they are majority since the High Court ruled that they are the majority, and this decision was made. This case has been in High Court for more than a year. So this case was taken to court just before elections. So the court ruled in the right manner with the information that they had at that particular time. Although right now so much has changed, the members of these particular coalitions have gone to the registrar of political parties and said that they are going to work with Kenya Kwanza. So there is nothing, there's no big fuss about it. In fact, hizi ndio vitu tulikuwa nasema ni vipindi. So this is one of the vipindis that we are being entertained with. Baraka, promise Baraka, we are giving you the link each and every time and you're not stepping in. Click the Afrique link. Baraka, please click the StreamYard link for Afrique 24, then I'll see you and allow you to come in. Awesome, this nonsense, there is no, Belfast is saying, yes, Belfast is saying this is nonsense. There is no parliament. There is no parliament there. They are all jokers full of nonsense. I agree with you. I agree with you absolutely. They were entertaining us with a lot of nonsense. That there is something big that is coming. They want this particular seat. There was nothing. There was nothing there at all. And they knew very well that they don't have the numbers. Azimio does not have the numbers. As it stands, they don't have the numbers. So if their UDA side is 165, and these are political parties that have said they are going to work with Kenya Kwanza, and they have gone as far as going to the registrar of political parties and said that we are moving from Azimio and going to Kenya Kwanza. You know, if you are a party and you move to work with this other coalition, that does not warrant you to go for an election. Unless you are elected member of a particular party and now you're moving as an individual to join another political party, and that one warrants you to, resign from your party and go for fresh election. I think this is where the confusion is. Azimio, they don't have the majority. They had the majority when parliament started, but right now, as it is, they don't have the majority. Promise Baraka, click the link. You are always telling me you want to join, and I give you the link. You don't click the link on StreamYard on Afrique and make sure that you open your mic and the camera when you join the studio so that you can jump in and contribute on this matter. Wangira, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. You know, the Baraka promise is me. So when you see promise Baraka, you know it's me.
I am always hearing you. This Baraka guy is always telling me he wants to join. But now, when I give him the link, he's already, oh, you're already in the studio. Karibu sana, Wangira. Now, you know, everybody is telling us that this was comedy. In the comment section, if you see Ellie saying, oh, this is comedy, that the 13th parliament is just full of comedians.
Let me tell you, comedy it was, but I tend to think that, you know, it's a fallback game for Mzee Raila Odinga in case he does not become the chair of African Union Commission. You know, this thing was very well scripted, and we are told that in politics, things don't just happen. You know, if you see anything happening in politics, just know that it has been planned. So, you know, it could look comedy, but, you know, there are people, these are political games that, you know, are supposed to derive a particular direction. So what I was telling you in regard to Wetangula's ruling, you know, it tabled a paper from the registrar of political parties saying that Party A moved from Azimio, it went into UDA, then there was another, the party I'm telling you from Northern Kenya that was in Azimio, today it does not belong to any grouping, you know, it's an independent party on its own. But, you know, according to the interpretation of the judgment, and that's why I'm telling you that, you know, unless you appeal that judgment, you know, the judgment stands. Anything that was done by a party that had entered into an arrangement with the Azimio la Umoja prior to the elections of the 9th of August 2022, anything that was done after that election, you know, according to that judgment, is null and void. You are stuck in that marriage because it was a pre-election marriage that you entered into. So you are stuck in that marriage until, you know, we get into another election. That is my understanding of that judgment. And if there is anybody who has an issue with that judgment, then you go feel against it. You know, that's what I understand. You are saying that Azimio la Umoja does not have the majority. Let me tell you, you can be a majority party, but, you know, when you are whipping your members to vote one side, you know, they will decide not to vote with you. You remember Jubilee after the elections of 2017, majority of Jubilee members, you know, disobeyed their party leader who was Uhuru Kenyatta, despite them having been the majority, and they went the William Samoei Ruto way. But they were the majority, if you remember. Jubilee remained the majority party, despite, you know, many members of Jubilee disobeying President Uhuru Kenyatta and going with, you know, William Samoei Ruto. So, you know, the majority nature or the minority nature of any party or any arrangement is determined by the number of people who are elected on that arrangement. It's not determined on the number of people who are voting on an issue in parliament. You know, for example, today they have told us that UDA is the majority. You discover they can come a time that where we need to make a vote. Then you discover that UDA that we are told has 165 members. When you go making a vote, you know, you don't even get 100 members. But that will not make it not become the majority. It will remain the majority by virtue of it having garnered more members during the election. So, you know, finally, you know, what I tend to think, you know, what is happening is a fallback. Raila Odinga is playing a script that in the eventuality that I don't make it as chairperson of the African Union Commission, how do I return to my people? And you know,
All right, Wangira, we are losing you once again, and And thank you for that. Your audio is now you're glitching. It's like a network kuna shida kidogo Wangira. Wangira, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. I can't hear you.
It's by becoming rebellious. So it's just looking for a way to become commission.
Hello, Wangira. Wangira, can you hear me? Network, I mean, Wangira's network is bringing a lot of problems, but again, we heard what Wangira has just said. One thing I want to say is that what is being misinterpreted by Wangira is just one aspect of this case, which is not bringing out clearly. The court emphasized that that Wetangula did make a mistake by assigning members, 14 members of Azimio to Kenya Kwanza without any documentation. Such a move legally should be supported by documentation. So that is what people need to know, that the court's ruling were okay because Wetangula never did ABCD according to the law. So that is why they ruled that Azimio are still the majority, because what they had is what should have been followed as per the law. And what the law required is that Wetangula ought to have followed the law in saying that Azimio is the majority. Now, what Wetangula has done now is to table what the court has asked him to table. That the register for political parties are saying yes, these members of parliament are now going to work with Kenya Kwanza, and they have written a letter to Kenya Kwanza. This can be post or pre-elections. These pacts can be post or pre-election. So whatever you had signed earlier on with Azimio, that you will remain a member of Azimio, yes, it's binding, but you can still walk away from that marriage with Azimio through a letter to the registers of political parties and say that, this marriage is no longer attainable. I want to move to a new marriage with Kenya Kwanza. And that is the way the law is. You are allowed within the Political Parties Act to do the same. So if somebody in Azimio feels that they need to go to court, then they can go to court, and they will not win this time round because, one, the ruling is very, very clear. The decisions by Wetangula yesterday were very, very clear that this is what ought to have been done, and we have done the same, and I have tabled the same in Parliament. So I think that we put that matter to rest, and I don't think it will crop up again anywhere about who is the majority and who is the minority. But again, this is just igniting emotions from Azimio, because they have been so quiet, so they had to entertain us with some satires that they knew that are going nowhere. So this kind of satires, we see them in the political arena in Kenya. And that's why most of the time when you see our politics is not serious, people are not very, very serious with what they legislate about. They make a lot of hype and noise on something that are some issues that they know are just whipping emotions of the public, yet they are going to gain nothing from it. For example, like Azimio's excitement of sitting on the majority seat and enjoying the majority seat, it was just nonsense. These are just things that ignite emotions, and they knew very well that they are not going anywhere with it. I think legislators in Kenya should now emphasize on the most important issues that affect the general public. I we have said, you know, there are very important issues when you go to the constituency. Your constituents do not have clean water. Those are the things that we need to be seeing being discussed in Parliament. The issues of security, insecurity, the issue of jobs for the Kenyan people, the issue of cost of living. We need to see this coming down. Not each and every time politics that don't affect us directly. What does the issue of majority being a majority, whether Ichung'wah is the majority leader in Parliament, help us, you people in Kenya Kwanza? How has he addressed the issues, your issues directly? You find that it is more of politics. It is more of, we are now working with Raila Odinga. We are now working with Kalonzo. We are now in a broad-based government. So what? So what? How does that help the local Manainchi? So this is how people are coming together to eat the resources, our taxes, yet they are not giving us service delivery that we need. So this is time that Kenyan people think about the political cabal that are in this country. We need to think whether your legislator is doing the right thing in Parliament. Whether you lining up for your member of Parliament to give you a check each and every month and begging for that check is necessary. Or is he supposed to create, to bring up a bill in Parliament that gives you free secondary education? So these are the issues that we need to scrutinize. Scrutinize why you don't have a good hospital in your area. Scrutinize why the Vampire Diaries is talking about Ruto's government eating this money, and why are they not addressing those issues? Why are they not addressing the issues that are coming out clearly that, yes, there was supposed to be a bridge here, 150 million is lost there. Why are they not addressing these issues by giving us the right information? And why are we not seeing the people who are eating government money and not being arrested? So if you support Kenya Kwanza, ask yourself those questions. Yes, we have seen a lot of people coming out with news about corruption in government. Why is the EACC not even acting on this issue? Yeah. So sisi pia tukiwa Kenya, tukiwa wazalendo, tupende nchi yetu na tuangalie ni vipi tunaweza saidia katika hiyo uongozi. Sometimes I don't blame the president so much, because sometimes some of these things, it is your MP who is either in ODM or Azimio coalition, whatever coalition it is, anakula hii pesa that belongs to the people. Look at the new world and the new order. We have somebody who is cutting the aid that was coming to Africa. And America was the biggest donor. So Donald Trump has said that, okay, fine, I'm not giving you guys this money. What are you guys doing about it? What are the African leaders doing about it? Have you seen them holding any kind of emergency meeting to say that, you know, yes, we depend on all these funds for malaria nets in Nyanza. Now we have to source them directly from China or any other source to mitigate the situation. Yeah, now you will see the crisis when people run out of drugs is when now they start coming up, oh, we need an emergency fund, blah, blah. Donald Trump's decision on cutting aid on Africa and putting America first is going to affect countries like Kenya. The unemployment situation in Kenya, if it was at 30%, it will grow to maybe 40%. Yeah, because all these people, remember, people who are working in USAID are now going to be laid off. All these suppliers, all these drivers, all that, those people are not going to have jobs anymore. That fund imekatwa. Now, the people who are sick and depending on antiviral, they are not going to get their medications in time. Those people are probably going to die. And what is the government doing about it? Then there is a hula baloo about AUC, as if that is the most important thing that we need to be thinking about every other day, that we need to fly to Ethiopia and come back with the AUC seat. As if that thing is going to affect each and every. I want to see, ask anybody in the comment section how this whatever it is, AUC seat is going to affect you directly. How Faki, who is the current chair of AUC, has helped the Kenyan people. Jared Wangira, just tell us why this AUC is so important to the people of Kenya, that we have to have parliamentarians going there to support Raila Odinga. Jared. I think Jared has got a network problem. Put your mic on, please. Maybe mic ndio hujaweka on. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. You had some glitches before you left. I think your network iko na shida kidogo, but now I can hear you loud and clear.
Network ilikuwa na shida. You know, we are in Africa where nothing is stable. So
no, Wangira,
nothing is
no, Wangira, let me just ask you sincerely. These African leaders, for example, let us now forget about our politics, how we think about our country. You know, let us look at the politics globally. And I know you have traveled. How we have Donald Trump, who is now in power. The decisions that Donald Trump is making, how is it going to affect Africa? And how is it going to affect Kenya, specifically Kenya? That depends on these donations. And what are we doing about it?
You know, let me just give you a case study.
Yeah.
You know, look at a slum like Kibera.
Yes.
You'll be told that, you know, billions have been pumped into Kibera over years. But, you know, the Kibera we know is still the same Kibera. After billions of shillings were pumped into it. Then you ask yourself, you know, have this money that have been has this money that has been pumped, that people have been pumping into Kibera, been beneficial to the people of Kibera? Because, you know, if you pump money into a slum like Kibera, then, you know, we should see an improvement in either, you know, the road network, the sewage, you know, what we call the washroom, you know, the housing structure. You know, we should see some improvement. But, you know, there are figures I've seen somewhere about Kibera before they started, you know, giving aid, and Kibera after they stopped giving aid the other day. And, you know, it has remained the same Kibera. Nothing has changed. That tells you one thing, that, you know, in Africa, whether it's in the NGO world, whether it's in the government, whether it's in the church, you know, people go there for their own stomachs. Majority of people who are forming NGOs around Kibera, you know, were making monies that were benefiting them personally. You know, these were not monies that were benefiting the people of Kibera. You know, that is something that is coming out clearly. So, you know, on the move that, you know, Donald Trump is making, you know, I support Donald Trump for one thing. You know, we cannot be dependent on somebody else forever. For example, we are 61 years after we became independent. And we are still dependent on another country. You know, we cannot do some very my internet is not stable, just like I've told you, so you'll bear with me.
Inakuja ikipotea, but I agree with you. Look at what you just said, and I looked at a picture like this one. This is an NGO donating I think these are tanks for sanitized for clean water. Yeah, in Kibera. This is, and I can see, you see at the background there are some Wazungus there. There's some Wazungus on the background who are probably working with these African communities. And this is pure stealing. stealing. And I think that Donald Trump is showing the truth. It's a wake-up call for Africa and a wake-up call to many countries that they need to depend on their own resources. So kama hii, look at this is a Kibera slum. Ati watu hawana maji Nairobi. Hawana maji Nairobi. That slum is still there the same. Leaders have come in, come out. The member of parliament gets 150 million every time for constituency development. Yet he cannot even take 50 million or 100 million, upgrade even Katekwera into modern houses. Aseme, hey, bwana, hii mwezi for 5 years. Can you imagine? 5 years. 5 years, you just dedicate that each and every month or each and every year, I put 50 million to upgrade these slum dwellers, or to give them just
let me tell you, Mahatma Gandhi, I remember Mahatma Gandhi said that there was enough for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed. So the problem that we are having in Africa is basically a problem of greed. Because if it's about everybody's need, then the resources we have in Africa are enough for everybody's need. You remember Uhuru Kenyatta telling us that we are losing 2 billion shillings in a day. In this country, 2 billion shillings in a day. It could be more. Imagine 2 billion shillings in a day. That could translate to around in 30 days. That would be around how much? Around 30 times 2. That will be around 60 billion shillings every month. So we are losing 60 billion shillings every month in theft. Imagine if we were to save even a half of it. Let us say that you people want to steal, so we want you to steal 500 million. So don't steal 2 billion a day. Just steal a billion a day, so that you leave 1.5 billion shillings for the people of Kenya. We will be far as a country. But unfortunately, in every sector in this country, be it donor funded or whether it's being donor funded or whether it's being funded by our taxpayers' money, it's all about stealing. People are there to steal. That's why Kibera, 30, 40 years later, after receiving billions of shillings, there's no change. There is no change. Look at the county governments. In the last 10 years, how much money has been pumped into county government? Billions of shillings. Billions and billions of shillings. But if you go to most counties, there is very little change. For example, the Northern Kenya, I understand that the leadership of Northern Kenya are very busy, investing in Eastleigh, investing in South Sea, and investing in Kilimani, instead of carrying out development in Mandera, instead of carrying out development in Wajir. So, in Kenya, if it's about everybody's need, we don't need even to go to Donald Trump, because the local resources that we have in this country are enough. But unfortunately, we are dealing with greedy people. And, when you are dealing with greedy people, you're in a problem. Imagine, pale nyumbani kama mama amepika ugali, there's a way your wife will know, what will be enough portion for 2 people. So he has prepared a portion for 2 people, you and a friend. And before your friend starts eating, you have eaten everything. That means that you are greedy. That portion was enough for the 2 of you. But because you are a greedy person, you have decided to eat it alone. That is the scenario that we are in this country. We are dealing with an leadership of very greedy people, where a person wants to have 5 cars, a person wants to have 100 properties, a person wants to have 100 acres of land. What for? At the expense of the majority, you have nothing. So, I agree with Donald Trump. Let America be for Americans, and we make Kenya for Kenyans. It's time for us to make Kenyans for Kenyans. By becoming accountable. Let us become accountable. You and me. Let us become accountable, and we start checking on our leaders. For example, if there is a small project in your ward, get interested in that project. Find out how much is it costing. Who are carrying out the projects. What were the evaluations. Look at those basic things. Like the way Morara was trying to do it out. That's the only way that we shall move this country forward. But if we want to remain dependent on America, we want to remain dependent on the European Union, we want to remain dependent on China, when shall we grow? When shall we grow? Even your own child, you start with him at what we used to call nursery school. Then you take him up to class 8. Then you take him to boarding school where he starts, living alone in the boarding school. After boarding school, he goes to university and starts his or her own life. That's how things are supposed to be. But in Kenya, 60 years later, we are still at nursery. Imagine 60 years after independence, we, the people of Kenya, are still at nursery. And the reason why we are still at nursery is because, our leaders are greedy. We elected greedy leaders who don't care about the majority. Perhaps that's all that I have to say.
Yes, we elected greedy leaders that don't really care about most of us. I think there's a group that we normally support in Africa, and we do it from here. And our program is targeted. I'll play for you a video of the things that we have been doing in Njoro lately for the victims in Njoro. But it is really targeted. Either it is the economic empowerment, if it is building a new life for people victims of fire, then we do it directly to help that community. Through that, then people see the difference. But this is coming from donors. What people always have to know is that when Americans donate, when these people donate money as donations to African communities or to NGOs, individual donations, they in their tax return, when they file their returns, then that money is actually, you are actually forgiven some of the tax that you owe the government with whatever donations that you've made. So a lot of white folks are doing this. Sometimes it is for business, and some of them, just as Donald Trump is saying, sometimes it's for kickback. So it is time for Africa to think on a way that we can depend on ourselves, and just to look at the way things are played in Africa. We made a small video so that people can really get to feel what really happens in Africa. Yeah,
Africa. This is Africa, where we cheer for thieves, clap for murderers, and crown them as kings. Where ballots are bought and justice is sold, yet we dance in the streets as the lies unfold. This is Africa, where hospitals rise, but medicine vanishes before our eyes. Leaders steal, then sell it back from pharmacies they own. What a cruel attack. This is Africa, 60 years free, yet schools have no light, no tap to see. Children learn under trees and dust, while leaders feast, betraying our trust. This is Africa, rich in the ground, but wealth is shipped, never found. Our minerals leave refined elsewhere, yet we remain in poverty's snare. This is Africa, where rulers won't leave. They die on the throne, making us grieve. Where the government's gun is aimed at us, silencing cries, crushing trust. Poor Africa, who will rise? Who will dry your weeping eyes? Who will cleanse your wounds so deep and wake you from this endless sleep?
Yes, this is Africa. This is Africa. This is Africa where donations are eaten by the leaders. This is Africa.
There is this tendency of people thinking that there is free money. There's what we call mali ya umma. If you remember,
mali ya umma.
What they used to call in Kenya mali ya umma. So Mali ya umma, so people believe that mali ya umma is something that does not belong to anybody. So, if you can grab it, you grab it. But, what people forget, even in America, what you people do in Africa, there's no free money anywhere in the world. There's no free money anywhere in the world. Even the donations that you have shown that you are making in Njoro, you said in Njoro, this is hard-earned money. The only thing that you perhaps benefit out of it that, they're what we call, tax rebates on it. But, at the end of the day, it's hard-earned money. You work for it. You say you work for it. So, you don't need to work very hard. Then you give money in form of donations in Africa. Then at the end of the day, that money does not do what it's supposed to do. And, that has become the problem even in many of our churches. Nowadays, there are very, very few churches that are getting money from America or from Europe. And it's because of one reason. The donors discovered that anytime they were giving money to churches and this money ended up benefiting, the immediate families of the leadership of those churches, either the pastors, the children to the pastors, and what have you. When there were scholarship offers, that was supposed to help, the unprivileged members of the church community, at the end of the day, these privileges could go to the leadership of the church. And that, made it a big problem that, today, there are very, very few churches in Kenya here that are receiving support from America or from Europe, because Muzungu has discovered that at the end of the day we are giving this money, but they don't go to the cause that it's supposed to go to.
I agree with you, Wangira, but yeah, agree with you. Let me play for you another one that I agree with you absolutely that all these people, the money that they get, they don't go. They don't go to the right people, and that is a problem with most of the projects that.
February 2021, tragedy struck families in Njoro when an electrical fire devastated their homes, leaving many hopeless. But out of the ashes came a remarkable story of resilience and hope. Care for Kenya and Hope Church stepped in immediately, providing much-needed relief in the form of warm clothing, essential supplies, and financial aid. This was the first step towards restoring what was lost. Today, the restoration efforts have moved into a new phase: sustainability. Through identifying 5 key areas, these organizations have helped the community rebuild in the form of warm clothing, essential supplies, and financial aid. This was the first step towards restoring what was lost, with long-term solutions. One critical domain is education. Many children could not attend school due to the lack of uniforms and financial support. Now, as you can see in the video, these children are back in school, with some even graduating to university. The second area is health. With the support of national health funds, those affected by the fire and other illnesses have received the care they need. Children who once faced insurmountable challenge are now thriving thanks to this assistance. Next, agriculture has taken root, allowing families to grow their food in partnership with Egerton University College. As you'll see, they're now cultivating their sustainable livelihoods. Another pillar of support is spiritual development. Through the power of the gospel, lives have been transformed. Community outreach and church programs have touched many, with new believers being baptized in their faith, a true testament to the healing power of community and faith. And Njoro is not alone. In Marsabit, where food relief was once the norm, families are now self-sufficient, growing their own crops and achieving food security. In the video, you'll also see the initial community that helped spark this transformation. They remain actively engaged in this mission, a testament to the enduring spirit of hope and collaboration. Thank you for watching and supporting the incredible work of Hope Church and Care for Kenya. God bless and goodbye.
Now, that particular initiative, I am part of it, that we targeted Njoro and Marsabit for food sufficiency. And in Marsabit, it is working. A community that did not have food supply can now depend on, on the project that we launched in Marsabit. So not all NGO, not all CBOs are bad. But I can tell you that the one that we worked with in Joro and what we are doing in Marsabit in conjunction with Egerton University, it is doing a lot of wonders to the community around there. So one day, Wanjira, if you're around, we'll invite you to come and see what we are doing in Marsabit and other communities and other supports that we are doing across the country. But this is just done by individual donations, not from the government of America, but individual donations, people coming together and saying that, we need to support this. We need to support this community. We need to give them good, clean water. We do this in conjunction with Reverend James Njoroge. He's an evangelical and he lives here in the US. So we've been doing this for the past many years. So he has got a lot of experience in that particular field, but it is targeted. It is targeted that where there is a need, we come in, tunamaliza hiyo shida, then we move. So that is what also happens. So not every other donation that you see is coming from the government, but this comes from well-wishers, people who have seen the problem, and they come, they feel the empathy, and they sympathize with the communities, and they donate cheerfully to help this problem. So in Africa, we must have friends also that also help us in when we are stuck. And that is the way the world is. Even you as an individual, you must have somebody out there that you can say, hey, today I am down. Can you nipige jeki kidogo? So that is how the relationship globally is all about. But you'll find that some of these relationships are abusive. Mtu atakuzoea sana ama saa zingine mnaenda kukosana. So these things are happening. So anytime you see decisions are being made by development partners in Europe or in the United States, the government needs now to tighten the belt and say that there is a lot of wastage in the government. And yet, at the end of the year, we might be needing so much mosquito nets, so much antiviral. Before that disaster happens, the government of the Republic of Kenya should have even held an urgent or crisis cabinet meeting to see if they will be having enough funds in case they don't receive donations. I have seen in most counties, counties where I come from, the budget of health is done by the county government, but they are factoring in the money that they are getting from USAID into their budget. And this is so separate. So hii pesa inakuja ya county, wanaikula, but they say that, the drugs, after receiving the drugs from whatever donor wamepata, they balance their sheets like that, lakini ile pesa ingine wamekula. So Africans ni wafisadi, and I don't know how we are going to deal with this. Maybe you guys in the comment section should tell me. I've got only one remedy. This generation of mine, majority of us are already contaminated with this virus of corruption. So there is nothing much that we can do. Now, there is another generation, for the future generation, the generation of my children. How will they survive in a country where everybody seems to be corrupt, or everybody wants to be corruptible, or any corrupt person is celebrated? How will they survive in this generation? We have to have this discussion. Either we start this corruption as a curriculum, or we make it so difficult, or we make the punishment so harsh, such that any corrupt individual stealing public fund should face even a death penalty. Ukiiba pesa ya umma, haki ya walai, that will stop. That will stop. But if you see corruption being the norm, if you elect leaders who are corrupt, then we are not going to end this corruption. Look at the vetting that was happening in Parliament just recently. You are having people who are billionaires, yet they don't even have any industry. Hakuna industry yote wako nayo. The kind of businesses that they do that tell you ati hey, huyu jamaa anaingiza. Hakuna biashara Kenya unaweza fanya inakupatia success, faida ya 100 million every month unless wewe ni mwizi. Hakuna, yani hizo ni faida zingine, yani impossible. Although there are people who make money, genuine money, they're there. But if you want to tell me majority of Ruto's cabinet are all billionaires, they are heading to $1 billion. So these are people, mtu anaingia ana hata hiyo 1 billion in their account, but they're already projecting to steal. Yeah, they're already projecting to steal. And then the vetting in Abuja, and who is vetting them? The Speaker of the National Assembly. Somebody who is also corrupt. Somebody who has also been mentioned in scandals at Dubai, scandals at embassy kuibiwa na nini. And yeye ndio sasa the Mr. Clean hapo ana vet. Now, wengine wale wako kwa panel ni watu wameiba kwa KEMSA wote. So you have a panel of thieves vetting another thug who is coming into the cabal, and you expect things to work as normal. No, things can't be normal in Kenya. Let us be serious with what we are doing. Look at these leaders, some of them, wengine anakuibia outright. Yani you go to a constituency, every year they have not even constructed any school. Not even a classroom, not even a toilet for the kids. Yeah, and a member of parliament amekuwa for 20 years. Walai. They have not even a barabara ya tama kata moja kwa constituency yake. Any maram road hakuna. No, now the problem in Kenya is not the leadership, it is us, the people. It is us, the people. We need to start thinking on how we are going to give civic education to our people. Every time unaona mtu ana complain ati Ruto ni mbaya. Ruto si mbaya. Ule mtu aliweka Ruto kwa kiti, mtu kama mimi. Sisi ndio wale wabaya. Na bado in 5 years we are still going to vote for the same person. Yet you've seen the scorecard enyewe, we did this mistake, and you have been given an opportunity to rectify the mistakes that you did in 5 years. You are still saying that you are going to elect the same people. Be it the MCA, be it the senator, be it the women rep, be it the be it the member of parliament. We are still going to elect nearly the same people. Why? Because CDF money is used to bribe for votes, and where I come from, they are lined up, given 1,000 shillings, 500, 200, 50 bob, 100, and they will vote in that direction. Where I come from, the leader lifts up your hand and says, "This is my man, vote for him." And that is the end of it. Where I come from, they are told that there are some wars that we are fighting, yet we don't see these wars. We don't see this war. We are in a battle. We are ever at war with some imaginary enemy. Where I come from right now, we are being told that, this community acts is very, very bad. We can't work with community acts. And for what reason? So let us stop tribalism. Let us look at what are the priorities in the country. And the young people come for positions of leadership. Wake up and rise to the occasion. Present yourself. The constituencies that are easy to manipulate, to change the leadership are the cosmopolitan areas where we have young people and colleges and people who are the working class, who feel that the high taxations of Ruto's government is affecting them. I can tell you it is easier to change the entire leadership of Nairobi if they don't work than in my rural village where I come from, where people are not very informed on the kind of leader that they want to guide them in the next 5 years. So it is easier for people who have access to information in the urban center because of media, social media platforms like AfriClear, other social media that they can access and get information on why we need to vote in a particular direction and why that voter's card is so important to you each and every time when you go to that ballot. Think about the most important things for you as an individual. Is it security? Is it jobs? Is it water? Is it infrastructure? So when you look at the fundamental issues that affect you on a daily basis, then you'll make a clear, cautious decision to vote in a certain manner. And this is important to every individual that is going to cast their vote in 2027 or in any by-election that is coming, that make a clear decision that, you know, it is not about me. It is about the future of my constituency. It is about the future of my county. It is about the future of my country. If I make that kind of decision as an individual, then we will get good leadership. Then pass the message on to the next person who is able to give you a ear to listen to what kind of substance you have that will bring good leadership and good governance in your country. So if we have these small tidbits of tips of what we need in a leader, then society will change. We will no longer depend on donors. Just yesterday, we were talking about what happens to most of these people that are regarded highly, and people like John Gidongo, people like Maraga, yeah, people who served in the civil service diligently, and yet they cannot rise to the occasion and come and occupy the most important seats, or who are their career servants, people like Martin Oduoro Tieno. These are people who could be serving as, you know, the Minister for Treasury and serve the country diligently, because this is somebody who has served the Kenya in the highest office. Yeah, why can't they offer themselves for political office and see whether we can, whether a technocrat will change this country? Let me tell you, politicians in Kenya will not change Kenya. The current crop of politicians will not change Kenya. This is a cabal, this is a cartel of people who want to eat, get fat with their pockets, have good houses, good property, build clubs, build everything that they want to build, and hotels. If you go to my county, or you go to your county today, the only business that the county governments are doing is having meetings across counties, inter-counties, so that they boost the economy of that county by going and occupying those hotels when they have their meetings. Meetings that can be held in the county assemblies are taken to hotels, and the leaders are paid per diem for this. Same to members of parliament. You find the members of parliament going to Zanzibar to have a meeting to discuss a bill. What nonsense is this? They're going to hotels in Mombasa to have their meetings. I don't know whether it is to promote the tourism industry. No, I don't think it is to promote the tourism industry, but to fatten our pockets. With that, we come to the end of Africa 24. And I've been your standing by host, Mzalendo kama kawaida. I want to read some of the beautiful comments from Gypsy Corner. Awesome. Gypsy Corner says that nothing will ever change in Kenya unless we have new blood in government. Exactly. Exactly. We are tired of recycling these old politicians with no idea. Some of them remind us about how we got independence. How does that help us nowadays? How slavery is the reason why we have problems in Kenya, or why the Kikuyu community have been in power since independence. It is our turn to eat. That one does not help us. Asante sana, Gypsy Corner. Jalendo, I like the way you are not holding back. You'll be kicked out in ODM channel. I've been kicked out in these ODM channels many times, and I don't really care. But so long as they get the message that brings me there, that is the most important thing, because they brainwash their followers with a lot of nonsense. So that is why we jump into these platforms. Make sure that they get the information. I jump into many other platforms, not even ODM. There are others that I jump in that I feel that these are just tribal formations that have come together to castigate William Ruto. I also jump into those particular platforms and tell them, you will not realize that some of these platforms, there are some undertones of tribalism that are in those platforms. Then you'll only see by the composition of the members of the platform. That one is realized, and I see you in some of them, Gypsy Corner. You are doing a good job by also listening to other views from other people. Awesome. What are you saying? I concur with you, Mzalendo. The ruling has been taken over. Yeah, that ruling has been taken over by event. We are just being entertained by another satire from the Azimio side. You remember these Azimio guys are the same fellows who are saying that Azimio is dead. And tulitoka Azimio kitambo, does Azimio even exist without Raila Odinga? That's what they were saying. And now we jump up and down when they come back together and see, wakiona ati kuna kakiti kamebaki pale wazi, ati jamaa anataka kukalia juu kuna pesa pale, ati now they are in Azimio. And the same fellow was saying that Azimio hii ilishakufa kitambo, somebody like Junet Mohammed. He was saying that Azimio is dead. So how does he even come back and say that he's a member of Azimio? Some of this nonsense, it's only fools who can take them seriously. Awesome. This is nonsense. There is no parliament. They are all jokers full of nonsense. Yeah, exactly. Eli knows it very well. I think Eli at some point gave up. He saw that he ni kupigia mbuzi guitar. Now we can't even think about parliament that is going to make any decision. I want you each and every time when you come to this forum, think that you don't have a leader. Think that the current thing that you have resembling leadership is what we want to kick out. Be it your MCA, be it your MP, be it your senator, be it your governor. Lazima aende nyumbani, because kama afanyi kazi, they don't deserve to be in those positions. So there are better people who can serve in those positions. Eli, kuja nyumbani, run for office. Stop hiding in Europe. The members of parliament in the UDA side, yes, this is 165 for 154. Yeah, and Wetangula explained it. Yeah, the last time he did a mistake, I have said it in this channel. The last time Wetangula did a mistake, he assigned members of parliament from Azimio to Kenya Kwanza without documentation from the register of political parties or any other letter that was written by them. That was illegal, and that is what the court pronounced. So that ruling has been overtaken by events. Awesome. I saw Western people saying that Wetangula should not move from that seat. Yeah. So yeah, Ruto will not open another war front with the Bukusu community or the Luya community, a war that he might not even finish, and his term is all, and he is yet very unpopular. So he cannot open a war. People who are thinking that Wetangula will be removed from that seat are just are just loud for nothing. Wetangula hakuna mahali anaenda. So we can be entertained by other comedy shows, maybe Nyengese or what, but this one's for parliamentarians. I think it is way too much. With that, thank you, Eli. Thank you, Gypsy Corner. Thank you, Awesome, for being wonderful contributors in Africa. Thank you for guys who have been watching on outside the platform. I can see you are so many outside there who are watching from the Bay platform and other platforms. Make sure that you have subscribed to Africa. For us, we want content and quality in our shows each and every time. And this is the only channel that is not biased. We look at things the way they are. If the government is doing a good thing, you'll hear it here on Africa 24. If Azimio sides are entertaining us with satires, you'll hear it here on Africa 24. So make sure that you have subscribed to Africa 24. This is the only channel that brings the truth, and it's the only channel that represents the people's view and the majority of Kenyans, what they think about. If you are out there and in Ethiopia and you're a leader in Kenya, we wish you the best of luck with Baba there. Wacha lete hii kikombe tuone. Hii kikombe tulikuwa napigania kelele sana, inatusaidia na nini kama wa Kenya. We wish Raila Odinga the best of luck here in Africa, and Baba, tunataka uende huko Addis na ukuje na hiyo kikombe. We will celebrate. Na pia ukikosa ukuje nyumbani usaidie kujenga taifa la Kenya kwa vyovyote vile. Karibuni sana, kesho tena Africa. Kama uja subscribe Africa 24, make sure that umeenda ukasubscribe. Guys, thank you in the comment section. Thank you for the support. Thank you for watching. And again, we have a date tomorrow. We'll be talking something different. Happy Valentine's if I don't see you. And make sure that we make a date here on Africa. Asante sana. Adios.
It's just a minute from here.